Alright, good. Just have to pause this.
Okay, so we have reached session number 58, which I forgot to update on this one, but hey, I'm getting there as we go. So, session number 58. Today at the table we have, starting with Grace.
I am playing Ione. She is potentially a reincarnation of a dead goddess from Aslanti times.
Why potentially? I'm sure we can say most likely.
But in her current incarnation, she's about 19 and impetuous, and she's a cleric and quite devout and sister of Bug and Nashu, and enjoys her oddball family very much.
What do I do? Okay, and then around the table we have Emerus.
I don't know which camera to look into.
Whichever one you like.
That one. Hi, I'm Emerus. I'm playing Dimly, the apparently not original Earthkeeper Dwarf field medic.
Well, he's still original because I don't know any other Dimly who's horse-ridden, scalped himself, and now has like a buzz cut on the top of his head.
Wolf-ridden. He was a wolf. You took my wolf. Yes, I have an interesting haircut. But I did keep it, and it was very effective in not stopping the arrows as a distraction, remember?
It was.
So
the light glinted off it.
Yeah, so that was good. I am severely injured, but I have one or two healing spells left and a couple of potions and stuff, so I'm about to triage a whole bunch of peeps, I think.
Yes,
so, yeah.
We are going to be doing a triage shortly.
Yeah.
Okay, so next on there we have is Jeremy.
Good evening. This evening playing Nashu Visky, the son of Koya and the adopted, in the Koya's eclectic family, as been previously mentioned. Nashu is the youngest/oldest of the family in the sense that he's an elf of around approaching 120-ish, but actually only feeling about 16-ish. Always ready to help and most revealing of his goddess sister.
Okay, next one around we have is Mark. As I try to fix the lines behind everyone, because apparently that doesn't work.
Right. Who are always pretty quiet at the moment because she's dead.
Rory, the almost dead samurai.
You're being stabilised.
Yeah.
I've been stabilised, and I feel that I'm getting sick of this dying thing, and would like to have to die in the future. Yeah.
Are you getting sick to death of dying?
That's a nice one. Nice one, guys. Thank you, goddess. Thank you. Thank you for the joke.
Well, hey, she might be sitting in judgment on you shortly.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And then we have Ross.
Who had to duck away briefly. I'm not going to get you back.
Yeah, not back yet.
Oh well, he'll be back eventually. Okay, so this is as much as they have light for at this stage, with that green stuff being a gas that just comes across as being rather nasty.
Enclosed in the pit down there. Okay.
Enclosed in the pit.
So what's in this room that we're in at the moment again?
We just crossed the grates that fell into the gas.
Yeah.
And
In
there's
this area.
stairs at the one part.
And there's stairs
Yeah.
that go down up there.
Yeah, but that's I'm just checking the considering people's current state of health, we might want to stop for say at least an hour or so to try and patch people up.
The
I'm
longer you,
wondering about whether or not there's any ability to create security in this particular location.
there is not really. You basically have to have people on guard duty, and
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I expect the guard duty. Like it's not actually everyone going to sleep or anything.
Okay. Sorry about that.
that's okay. And Ross, introduce yourself.
Yes, I am Xanis, the goblin monk who was pretending to be a kobold who was pretending to be a halfling.
And was pretending to be a pin cushion at one stage.
Still haven't put a
Is he
pin
still
I still
pretending
can't
to
get
be-
these arrows out because we haven't been able to rest.
Is he still pretending to be a kobold?
Well, he's still wearing the kobold skin.
Well, it's a bit tattered and that, and I'm currently being well. I'm now wearing the hat or whatever from the pig lord thing.
You
So
are.
I'm currently pretending to be the Lord's messenger, or was it the Pig Lord's messenger? Which didn't really work out too well.
Not really. Not when there are no goblins in this location.
Hey, I didn't know that.
Well, you found that out the hard way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to state of the matter is you just fought a bunch of people over a pit of death with a air battle between two samurai with glowing swords.
It was very Big Trouble in Little China, wasn't it?
It was. With a mixture of Star Wars thrown in there. We should have just done lightsaber sounds and it would have been perfect.
Yep.
And of course, the only reason Rory survived and got back up here is because Nasru dived down into the pit of the green mist and dragged him back up the top again.
Should we call it the Pit of Despair just to make it fit in with some of those other jokes?
Even though I might have stabilised myself beforehand.
We knew nothing about that when he died in.
Rory knows. No,
Nasru is suggesting that we should at least drag Rory's unconscious body down to the end of the room away from the stairs. Because that'll at least give us a bit of a three sides will be covered from any approach. So,
Or we could have just gone into the room that had only one entrance, which was the opposite side of the pit.
but how are you going to get there?
We still were flying around.
No, everyone can fly now.
So,
People have used up their abilities.
I'm happy if we can get across to drag an unconscious Aurora across
Well,
the.
no, we could have done that before we actually decided to go, we'll now stop for a moment and go, our fly spell's now finished.
Well, no, but I think that you might be the only one with any fly spell potentially left at all.
You
because
were.
we
we,
already
had
had-
we had the flying dwarf as well.
Yep.
Except Emily came up to help people.
But then again, if we did use that to get across into the north or south side of the pit, then you've got to use resources again to get out of it.
Well,
Yep.
mine lasted up to 10 minutes, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying we're stopping for probably an hour or something.
Oh,
before
yeah.
the time packs up with medicine.
So if you
Okay.
take a 10-minute action to do treat wounds, your spell's gone.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
So if it's like, if you want to heal wounds without magic, you lose your spell.
Yeah.
If you use the potion to continue on, you still got your fly spell.
Rory's going to suggest and looks around and knows all these boxes around.
Rory's currently unconscious.
Okay, always unconscious.
Okay. Rory's got.
Did we loot the Sith Lord?
Nope.
He
He's
fell
in
to
the mist.
He fell to the bottom of the pit, so which was to be avoided if you could. So, but anyway, so Nashru's having arranged for Harori to be tied to the rope and dragged back up again. If no one else has done it, Nashru has dragged Harori down to the bottom of that room, and we'll start treating wounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
make certain 2 people at least alert and aware, watching those stairs and watching across the way to see if anything comes.
Okay, so who's going to do what? Because that will determine how many bad things occur to you while you're resting.
Okay. Nashru is happy to be treating wounds for as long as we want to be stopping for. You can only do, each person will take 10 minutes.
Yep, that was why I was asking. So for the first 10 minutes, what are people doing if you're going to spend 10 minutes on one person?
Yep.
is there any debris or anything in this area?
Yes, that area has lots of debris.
Not
enough to make a ladder with.
No, I'm not after a ladder. Just something that can actually either provide cover or hide behind.
There is the flooring that normally goes over the pit you just went over.
Yeah, I was just hoping like a broken boxes or something like that.
Well, there are broken boxes.
You know, the flooring is in fact a large roll of like cane or something, isn't it?
Bamboo.
Yeah. Okay. So
Rolled up
yes,
bamboo.
You would make a very effective barrier.
There'll be a barrier, but I was thought of like something that I'll be able to hide behind and still keep watch.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that this roll would end up being probably about 3 feet high and 3 feet in diameter.
Well, the rolls each, where is it?
Based on if they're going to cover 60 feet of length type stuff.
They weigh 30 pounds.
So
each roll that are about 12 foot wide and 40 foot long segments. I already had some.
okay, there you go. So 12 foot wide, 40 foot long. So you could make an effective barrier, not necessarily a barrier that will stop major things, but certainly something you can hide behind if you wanted to.
As the corridor is 10 foot wide, even though they've got 3 squares showing there at the moment. Removing the squares because they just confuse the matter. So the squares are the corridor where the stairs are 10 feet wide.
Yeah. But actually, I'm assuming that we're actually down the other end of the room away from the stairs.
So that's where you want to be, the other end of the room?
Yeah. I think because the other end of the room was a complete dead end, as far as we saw, so it means that there's at least only one side they can attack from then. So did everyone else work out what they were doing in that 10 minutes? Did you guys standing watch?
I'm going to do healing, because I've got a couple of things I can do.
I'll stand watch, but I'll hide while watching.
Yep.
So just a quick question, Jeremy.
Yep.
All of my stuff talks about treat wounds. How does that work?
Treat wounds is a medicine check, which, depending upon your skill level in medicine.
Yeah, which is ridiculous, yep.
So, like, are you trained, expert, master?
Medicine, I'm a master with plus 21.
Master plus 21. You don't happen to have battlefield. No, sorry, not battlefield.
Battle medicine?
Ward medic. No, have you got ward medic?
Yes, I do.
You got ward medic?
I do.
Cool. Okay. That
Where does
certainly makes it
medic
worthwhile
come
then.
from?
That means you can treat every hour, isn't it?
Well, no. That ward medic says that instead of treating one person at a time,
You can treat
as
2.
a master, you can treat
4.
4 people.
Yeah, but which book?
So,
From Pathfinder.
Didn't realise it was in the core book.
and with
Obviously, I hadn't looked too far at the higher level stuff.
Yeah, I know. I got that for level 10, I think. But yeah, I've got Ward Medic, and I'm a master, so I can treat up to 4. But I also have Battle Medicine.
battle medicine's a different thing because that's something you do during combat. So the idea is the treat wounds,
Yep.
which you're going to use for your medicine, your ward medic and medicine, takes 10 minutes.
And
You
how?
can treat up to 4 people.
Yeah.
Obviously, that means that how many people have got the boat? Because if you're going to do 4 people at once, that's not going to be anyone on watch, I don't think.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that
but
means that they're tied up
if
for
you're
that
doing
10 minutes.
Nashru's having to go on watch. So,
Yeah, Iomi's watching.
but you can't be healed and watch at the same time. Is the
No,
point.
I know, but isn't he healing himself and Bug and
Yeah.
Harori and Xanis?
Yeah, I hadn't looked at exactly who was the most wounded or where they were. So, but basically, as a master, you can. So normally you'd heal 2d8 points of damage,
Yep.
but as a master, and the DC for that would normally be 15. You could make it 20 and give them an extra 10 hit points.
Or 30 and
Or if you
do
want-
30.
Or if you want to push it, because you said you had plus 21,
Yep.
so that means you could go a 50-50 chance of getting 2d8 plus 30 to everyone. Or a 100% chance, or, 100% chance. Well, not quite, so technically if you're on 1, it's still...
Go big or go home.
You get a 100% chance of getting 2d8 plus 10, and including a decent chance of getting 48 plus 10. If you roll a critical with your DC 20, then you get 48 instead of 2d8.
So,
So it's up to you.
so Jeremy, how far is your dark vision?
Dark vision means in Pathfinder is see normally, but in black and white. So it's normal. Basically, it's just like the range of sight, unless something gets in the way.
Okay, so it's not like D&D where
It's not a 60-foot dark
feet
vision
or...
No, it's just a straight. If it's within line of sight, in the sense that there's nothing physically blocking it, you can see.
Just a question. Do we want to try for an hour?
Well,
Because if I succeed at my check and we can go for a total of 1 hour, I can double the hit points they regain.
you can indeed. That's right. Well, certainly Nashru was expecting to have to be here longer because he was expecting to be healing people in turn, like we ended up having to do at the top of the tower. But
Yeah.
So can I actually meditate while getting healed?
No. That's one thing or the other.
But you could take just the... if we're going to be there for an hour, you could meditate for like 50 minutes. And just not get the double health.
Yeah, so if he succeeds on the 10 minutes, you'd get 2d8 plus 30. And then anyone that he continues to treat for the hour, get 2d8 plus 30 times 2.
So, Jeremy, that is your vision when you can see things.
Yep. Okay.
And then when it's not your turn, I just click button and that's what everyone else can see.
Almost the same.
Is my thing still glowing? Is it my helmet or something? My shield? My shield's glowing.
Yeah, I assume I can't gain my focus back if I'm getting healed. Is that right, Mark?
That is correct because you're not even awake until they finish the healing.
Okay, very cool, very cool.
So Dimly has a light source.
Mm-hmm. I
That's-
cast light on my shield.
That's the 60 by 120.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
If they're staying for an hour, does that mean I can spend an hour to get a focus point back?
No, if you're being healed.
You've got to spend 10 minutes of that's all you're doing. So if that's when someone's attacking, you're not on watch, and you're not prepared for it. You're basically surprised by that. You can't be saying I'm doing this and I'm doing this. It's like no, you're choosing what you're doing.
But if we're going to be there for an hour, I can spend 10 minutes focusing while Mr. Scouty scouts the stairs,
That
and
mean-
then I can go and watch
Well, that means if you're leaving Jeremy to be the sole person on watch.
for the first 10 minutes.
Okay.
Nashru's understanding, he accepts that responsibility. He knows that the party relies on him.
Well, alright, I'm going to roll, but I'm going to go for the master.
Yep, so we're going for DC 30?
Yep, if I fail, they only get 1d8.
No, if you fail, you
if you fail,
have
then
to
you
you have to
double.
fail by less than 10.
But unless I roll a 1, that's... No, I can't, because I've already got a plus 21. So...
Yeah, but a one turns it into a failure, so...
Oh, right.
A 1 lowers
Unless
the
he's
roll.
got some talent that makes him that he can't fail.
I'm really good looking.
But, like I say,
Don't roll.
failure
You did make
itself,
that talent feature so good that you can't fail.
if you
Alright.
roll a 1,
Here we go. Are we ready, guys?
Yep.
So as a 1, was it?
That makes it a critical failure. So
No.
everyone takes a d8 damage.
It takes it from so it'd be
Okay.
so as a failure normally.
yeah, it's a failure.
So-
Put you at DC 30.
You need a 9 or above, so that would make it a critical failure because it
So
downgrades the check.
everyone that was getting healing takes a d8
Rerolls,
damage.
rerolls, rerolls.
Yeah.
You have one reroll for the
Yeah,
night.
can I re-roll?
You can
guys?
reroll for the night.
Because otherwise, I think I've just killed half the party.
Well, you put well technically you would have
You
put
put you and Bug and Horror is already down.
Yeah.
Mark would then go into wounded 2.
Right.
Yeah, so let's reroll.
That's
that.
I'm taking the reroll, and I'm so sorry. I'm going to use a different... No, take one of you all. There we go. Alright.
Technically, Bug would have gone down, and Ross would have just been damaged.
So I got 28.
So you still fail, so no one gets healed.
Yep. So you spend an hour doing that.
No, you only have to do it for the first 10 minutes. It says if you succeed on the first 10 minutes, you can continue to treat for the hour. So the first check is just 10 minutes.
But that
Right,
means that
physically
if
to
I
check.
fail, I should be able to try again 10
That's
minutes
10
later.
minutes. No, you can't.
Really?
Because you cannot treat it on someone again for another hour.
If you spend 10 minutes treating someone, the target's then temporarily immune to treat wounds actions for an hour.
Yep.
But it means that he can do the other two that we're doing watch.
I guess.
But that is 10 minutes. I'm going to duck to the bathroom, and then while you're thinking about what you wanted, what else you're wanting to do, other things will be rolled up. Oh, back in a moment.
I'm so
At least you
sorry.
didn't damage them.
Or let's say,
Could have been worse.
well, that is actually...
Almost was worse.
How about I watch and you start healing people, Jeremy?
Oh no, because they're immune to the treat wounds action, that includes mine.
I thought it was... Oh, is it from anyone?
The battle medicine is specific to the healer, but the treat wounds action is
Anyway.
the action itself.
So I can do battle medicine still.
Well, the idea is that gets done in combat.
Well, it says even in combat, so you should be able to do it outside, shouldn't you?
Well, yeah, but the idea being that normally, if people went for a reasonable figure, like plus 10 instead of plus 30,
Oh, look.
but yeah, so naturally can't actually heal them at the moment. Yeah, technically you can still do battlefield medicine, but the problem is that as soon as you've done that on them, they're immune to that for 24 hours.
Yeah, but that's alright. I think at the moment we need something.
If you maybe do a perception check on Aurora, you might have 2 potions in his
Yeah,
backpack.
I've actually got 3 as well.
I don't know, I just thought let you guys know.
Yeah, we can do that. That's the next thing. I'm just trying to...
See, that's actually what Gimli did. When he realised, hang on, I think I've stuffed up the bandaging of these guys. Here, quick, take this. No one will notice.
That's kind of, yeah, the battle medicine. So, I can still do battle medicine, apparently. And if I open battle medicine...
It works the same way, but it's not counted as treat wounds.
No.
And
And doesn't remove the wounded.
you can only do it once every 24 hours.
Yes.
Have you done it on any of these people?
No. I've
Sure.
never used it before now. So does that mean I could do battle medicine on everyone there once and then can't do it for 24 hours?
If you do it now, you cannot do it for the rest of this below the ground here. You do not get a chance to refresh that.
No, but he could do it for each target.
Yes, but what I'm getting at is if anyone else falls in combat, he cannot use the battle medicine to get them up. It's his choice if he uses it now, he can never save that person.
But you could try and use it on Rory now at least to get him standing.
It's basically the I saved the person at the last moment.
Use potions. Well, not all of us, but you've got 3 potions.
I've got 3 potions, and I've already used the Vital Beacon, but I've still got 1 heal spell left.
You could get Rory up as well, because Rory apparently has potions.
Yeah,
so focus on getting him up first.
How many, can I do battle medicine on Rory?
If you want to.
Yeah.
What do you want as a potion?
Well, he's got 2 potions as well. So I've got potions that might be better off given to other people if he's got 2.
Except he could also give them to other people as well, is my point. My point is, if he has a potion now, gets him standing, and between him and your other 2, you guys all heal up, if he goes down in combat again later, you still have the option of battle medicine for him at that point.
Alright, can I give him a minor potion?
You can, but Jeremy, before that happens, what's your passive perception?
Passive perception is 21.
Mine.
Hang on. No, sorry. I've got plus 21.
You are not available for this because you're currently still on.
But it's been 10 minutes.
This is during that 10 minutes point.
Oh, it's during the 10 minutes, okay.
I never said that I was advancing time at that stage.
Sorry, Martin. I've got plus 21 perception, so passive I'm assuming probably
It's
takes
31. Yeah. Okay. So, Jeremy, while everyone else is currently occupied, because they're going to be occupied for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, so if I get suddenly occupied, then they're going to be disrupted in whatever they're doing. So, passive perception of 31 and effectively passive stealth of 33. So.
Martin, this sounds a lot like funeral music.
We could end up there. Be careful what you ask for.
Can't have a funeral if there's no one left alive to do it.
Well, it could be
So
just
what, we're
a,
not
could
gonna
be just
do
a
it,
barbecue. Wouldn't be the first time that's happened. Okay.
You just hate people that die? I can't believe I rolled 1.
I think I have all of them down. Just checking numbers. Okay. Switching over to Jeremy's perception, as you can see just so much better.
There's only 3, he can take them.
That man would have spotted him.
There's a light source at your end, there's no light source at the other end.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they spotted him out the corner. And upstairs.
So Jeremy, you see
Go on.
you see three stepping out of the corridor into the corridor at the end, gesturing to themselves, and someone in the room behind them.
And we're talking more hobgoblins, are we?
You are.
I will take a moment to watch if they come out of that door or whatever at that end, but they're still talking to someone behind them, he said.
Gesturing.
Okay, gesturing.
No sound.
I'm going to give it a moment to see if they start walking in this direction. So, like, I'm assuming by the length of that passageway, they are talking probably at least 100 feet away or something.
About 200.
200 feet? Okay, great. I'm going to see if they do actually start, as soon as they start walking in this direction.
215 feet for that one, and 220 for that one.
Yep. As soon as they start walking in our direction down the corridor, I'm going to quietly move down to the others, tell them we've got company, and then move back into that corner position so I can continue to monitor their approach.
Give me a perception roll.
14, 35.
Okay, they seem to be rigging something in the wall near the door.
Okay. If they're not moving out the corridor, then I will continue to watch and monitor them. If I look back and see one of the, if anyone is actually vaguely attentive amongst the group, I'll let them know that they're coming there, but I'll keep watching at this stage.
Okay, so that's what happens during the 10 minutes is they're working on stuff. Okay, so you've done your save, you've recovered one focus. You get one focus for every 10 minutes. You don't get all three back.
Yeah, I know that.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
And none of those others got woken up. So, is this where you're going to use the potion on Horror?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So potion of mind healing, which is 1d8.
I'm sure he can do it with the D8. Was it a 1?
Yep. Rory, you have 1 hit point.
Everest, I want to chuck your dice out the window.
That wasn't my dice. I specifically took Grace's.
Alright, Mason, I'll chuck your dice out the window. Sorry,
No. We've got to chuck his hands out the window because he's obviously handling the dice bomb.
It can't be Grace. Grace would never do that to me. So,
I didn't roll it.
So,
I believe you, Grace. I have more faith in you, Grace. It's okay.
so Mark, you're on a whole 1 hit point. As you wake up spluttering, you're no longer over the pit. You've still got your sword in your hand, luckily.
Okay.
So what? Grace is now doing all rolls.
Oh, I wouldn't trust me.
Well, I don't think you can roll worse than a 1.
That's the point.
Am I the only one unconscious? Or?
You were.
There's no one unconscious.
Okay.
We're all just bloodied. Not as bloody to you.
So this is what the party looks like.
Oh, shit. Okay. Okay. So we've done 10 minutes, so have we? Okay.
You have. Do you want to spend more time getting back focus points and stuff?
I'll see myself at a hot 1 hit point and go, I want to stand back for a bit for guys, but I'll go out and pull out of my backpack 2 potions. I'll give 1 to Bob, 1 to Dimly.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not going to let me. But apparently I have assurance on medicine,
Yep.
so I can forego skill checks.
That would have given you base 10.
You could have done that, yes.
Right.
But you have to declare you're doing that instead of rolling.
Now I know.
That's what they asked if you had that one that makes you that you don't fail, but you only just succeed.
Which one's that?
That is
That's
assurance.
Oh, right.
Well, no, because what I was thinking, you were talking about.
But the problem is,
You don't roll a 1.
If you had taken it, it was just 10 plus your proficiency bonus.
21.
Yes, and that's all it would have been.
Which would be 31, which would have passed. Bloody hell. Alright.
Yeah. Basically, you can't just take 10.
I'll remember that next time.
Pathfinder. So,
Sorry, guys.
So, in the next hour, he knows what he needs to do that.
Just means you can never get a critical success when you do that.
Mm.
Especially when it's like, if I roll 15 and above, I'm going to critically succeed. It's like, no insurance. I've just done enough to succeed. Okay, so, Jeremy, are you still watching them?
I'm still watching them, yep.
Okay, they seem to be working back towards the door they came through.
Okay, so they popped out, they put up some sort of mechanism or trap or something at the wall or in that area where they, like in that final 10, 20 feet of the corridor.
Yep.
And then they're moving back into the corridor, into the room they came from.
They are.
Okay.
Yep.
So my quick question is, for certain spells that have a range,
Yep.
and it says if you're ever more than that many feet away,
Yep.
if I use distance spell, that would increase both of those, wouldn't it? So it has a range of 30 feet, and it says you cast a spell on a target and you link, but if you're ever more than 30 feet away, the link breaks. So
It should
if I did
work.
distance spell, it should technically affect both, shouldn't it?
Distance spell's supposed to work for the range to hit something, not for sustaining something.
Yeah, that's why I was asking the question, because I wasn't sure, but
Most of the time, if I look up distance spells specifically, this is for the sorcerer.
yeah.
That way I can give you a specific thing on it. 'Cause I think it is for only...
Yeah, normally it's sort of that it just increases the range you cast it at originally. But, yeah, it's an interesting idea.
Is that reach spell you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so for a spell that has a range, it increases that range by 30 feet. It doesn't increase the effect of the spell, just the range attribute.
Yeah.
So
I
the range
just wasn't
attributes in the
sure if it
description.
was a wording thing with the spell of, like, do they intend that to be within range of the spell, or is it specifically like they want those to be two
So
different
which spell are we
things?
talking
Shield
about?
Other.
Shield Other? Okay, so...
Yeah, because it specifies the number, but because the number's the same as the range, I wasn't sure if it was just that they'd done that for convenience purposes, rather than putting the range of the spell. I don't mind which way you rule on it, I just need to know before I...
I think it would have to be, you could cast Shield over on someone more than 30 feet away from you, but then the effect would fail. Because they're more than 30 feet away from you.
Yeah,
So you can target them with the spell, which you couldn't normally target them with otherwise.
but it's pointless, because
Yeah.
it just wouldn't work. Yeah,
Because otherwise it should say, based on this spell's range.
yeah, okay.
Because basically it specifies 30 feet away, not range.
Yeah,
If it had said range,
yeah.
Within range, such
I
as-
wasn't sure whether or not
such
that
as
was
another
a-
target within range, then it would have extended
Yeah.
as well. They like their keywords in this game. Okay, so Jeremy,
So are we hanging around for another 10 minutes to an hour at this stage? Is that what's the plan?
Well, I can't do anything for... I can heal you or Grace. Yeah, actually, can I heal Grace?
you want to spend 10 minutes on that?
How much health does Nasher have?
I'm on 70.
Well, do you want to have 2d8 plus 30? Because I can just do it.
Well, okay. But I certainly want people who are competent and confident to watch the other end of the corridor.
Can someone else watch?
Preferably, certainly they'll need dark vision to be able to see the distance.
Does anyone else have dark vision?
I'm out.
I have dark vision, but I need to do the healing.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, can I just heal...
So natural stay watch at this stage. Then.
Alright, can I just assurance cast treat wounds on Grace's character?
You can. I'm trying to figure out what happened to where people moved.
Okay, in that case, can I just meditate for 10 minutes then?
Rory somehow moved off the map. Don't know how that happened.
Cool. So 2d8
Yep.
plus 30.
Plus 30.
39. So you get 39 hit points.
Okay. So, Jeremy, they seem to, in that 10 minutes, they seem to finish whatever they're doing and shut the door.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see a spark going along part of the brickwork.
Oh, shit. I just realised what they're doing.
You have one action. Not a round, one action. What would you like to do?
Shoot it.
Wow. Okay. I can't see how they went all the way to the thing on here. Well, I will take a look at the wall near me and make sure there's no stuff nearby into the wall, and immediately brush it off if there is.
There doesn't, but it seems to be heading directly towards where they were working. You can see little lumps in that spot.
Yeah, but they're only working in a space of like a 10, 20 foot square area.
Yeah, but they're collapsing.
Yeah, but they've got enough to put some dynamite there that'll collapse the tunnel.
Yep.
Have you got a cantrip that can say snuff out flame?
Apparently, when I grab a different person, someone else moves.
That's weird.
Okay, so you see them disappear from view, and as you watch, as the little thing reaches something, and then there is a loud kaboom.
Earth-shattering kaboom!
Almost fitting with the sound of something beeping there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, someone's beeper? Like...
Well, that might be better.
That's much better.
Sounds a bit echoey. I'm sure it's not, terribly bad for you.
Nasher, what did you do?
Apparently, watch the thing explode. Duck more behind the wall when the bright flash went off.
I feel like that was a bad thing.
Okay, you see the end of the corridor has collapsed.
Okay. Well, they're not coming that way for the time being.
That's one way to look at it.
I'm healing for this 10 minutes, aren't I?
Yep. So, how much?
Probably have to restart the 10 minutes because you might have got distracted.
Well, that was pretty much
At the start of that 10 minutes.
No, at the end of their 10 minutes,
Okay.
because they spent 20 minutes setting it up.
Okay.
So, how much healing did you give?
39.
She looks quite healed now.
Can I just grab one focus point back while we're waiting 10 minutes? Because I've got nothing else to do.
Well, I was meditating as well.
Yeah.
So, let me see. You both were meditating, but forgot to call it out.
No, I stayed a bit before.
I was waiting for somebody else to finish their talking. So.
You might not have been on. You might have been on mute or someone else talking at the same time, Ross. So, okay. So you both get a focus point back,
I can die with one hit point.
and you hear this ginormous explosion at the end of that, and dust coming out of the corridor from where Nashru was standing.
Nashru. Okay.
What did you eat?
They're not coming that way for a little bit. Of course, we're going to have trouble getting that way when we're ready, but...
Okay. So how far along in time have we since we left the... I'm going to call it the big hobgoblin area.
Big hobgoblin area. You've probably been about 30 minutes at the most.
Okay.
Maybe 40 now. So that was where where you massacred all the hobgoblins.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm just calculating my 2 hours, you know.
Like above the pier.
So before you cross the drawbridge, up the stairs, and before you encounter the ropers.
Alright, you probably counting since we encountered the ropers, effectively.
No, because my health level was before we crossed the drawbridge.
Okay, so you're probably on the first hour now since then.
Yeah, I was going to say 30 minutes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's been about an hour, okay.
I will wait my another hour before I can get myself a death. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so it certainly doesn't look like they're planning on coming at us for a little bit. So I guess we've got a good hour or something we can wait now, maybe.
Well, you could probably rest here for 8 hours.
No, I don't think we should do that yet.
No.
No.
Because the point is that right now we can't go forward.
Well,
So-
we should wait 10 minutes or, like, can we have a short rest, or is that...
No, well, short rest isn't really a thing you do in Pathfinder.
That's what I was
So-
curious about, I wasn't sure.
But the idea is effectively we're having these short rest type stuff so you can patch up wounds.
Every hour you can pat someone again.
That's right.
Right.
So we could wait and you could try again.
Well, the only thing I can do at the moment is regain 2 extra focus in 20 minutes. So that's
Yeah,
all.
same here.
Yeah. So,
The point
I
is that,
yeah.
okay, well, basically from the time when he's healed Naomi,
Yep.
another 40 minutes, no, another 50 minutes, and everyone can get their 30 plus 2d8. So,
Yeah, let's do that. Can we...
as I said, there's no point trying to go forward while people are as damaged as they are.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, I'll spend that time, seeing as I don't need more healing and stuff, I'll spend that time just regaining the other 2 focus.
Okay, so you spend 20 minutes to get back more focus.
I have focus points to heal my animals, so that's... can I...
and naturally we'll continue to maintain watch from a hidden position just around the corner there. And
Okay, so Nashru, you do notice that in the hour since you've left that pit area, the mist has risen.
okay.
Oh. Does it come into our room where we are?
Well, there was a gap between it and the mist itself from the edge of the room. Now there's no gap.
Okay, how much was the gap? It was about 15 feet or 10 feet, wasn't it?
It was about 5 feet
So it's gone about 5 feet
in
an
half
hour.
an hour.
In half an hour. Right.
Is there another
So we
way
don't
out?
really want to hang around here much longer.
And the fact that these stairs are down, so
We have to go back.
if you go down that way, you might be stuck between the gas and whatever's down there.
Nashru, can you do some scouting?
Well, I can certainly scout, but obviously you'll be unattended at that point in time.
Well,
Yeah, but I'm around to keep watching.
and so am I. I load my crossbow.
No, you're busy, aren't you?
No, I'm...
Yeah, you're healing.
I can't heal anything.
Yeah.
He still had half an hour at the most has passed since you started. So 1 round healing people while you're doing a focus.
Yeah.
1 round healing you. So 40 minutes have passed.
Yeah, because
At this
then
point,
there was
yeah.
2 lots of 20, so only 40 minutes to pass.
Yeah,
So you do another half hour before you can heal. No.
Well, or at least
It is half.
another-
It is half an
another
hour
20
because it
minutes
has to
before
be
you
at the
start
end
healing.
of when you did the last healing.
No, it says it can overlap.
Okay.
Yeah, it says that the people
Effectively-
can overlap that 10 minutes, so it ends up not being 70 but 60 in total.
You sure?
I only know that because I was just reading it.
Yeah, that's right. So basically you can start healing at the 60 mark, and at the 70 mark, you finish the healing for the second time.
Martin, I just want to let you know, I just double check my heal again. It's actually once every hour. So,
Once every hour.
yes, I'll wait for as I said, I'm just going to gain my focus back for a bit, but I'm going to kind of watch on the actual gas and
Well,
just keep yeah.
at which point basically you can see a little bit of misting on the edges of the stones near where you are. Right next to Wyoming.
Hey, Omi, watch out for the gas.
Yeah. Just
So naturally we'll go and scout down the corridor and see whether there's any capability of getting through the rubble they've created.
Okay, they seem to have collapsed it at least probably till about somewhere around here. There's rubble all the way up to there, but it seems to be solid beyond that.
Okay, so effectively no way of getting through.
Not
something that can get rid of stone.
without time or tools.
Okay. I'll come back and let you guys know that, yep.
They basically spent 20 minutes rigging up to bring down the roof.
Did we pass any other ways through or unexplored up until the point we've gotten here?
Unless you want to go out into the lake. Have you got a way to breathe underwater?
So as far as we're aware, that's the only way to get through.
That's the only way we found so far.
May have been why they sealed it.
Okay.
I can travel through water at normal speed,
You can.
I think. I've got underwater marauder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not flat-footed and I don't take usual penalties. Oh no, that's just fighting, sorry.
You can fight underwater without penalties.
I can!
Maybe we can climb the wall and get into the upper areas.
How do you mean upper areas?
Is there any gap between the, like, has the roof fallen in and completely blocked up to the ceiling? Or was the roof, say, 10 feet deep and there's a whole bunch of rubble on the floor, but some gap between?
There is dust and stones. You'd pretty much have to go in there and investigate.
Well, when we entered the keep, there was an area that we could get up to the other upper area.
Yeah, but that is quite a few hundred feet above you.
Yeah, we're down now, aren't we?
My question was to Nashru in character.
Oh, that's right.
Like, Nashru, with the rubble and stuff, do you think we can, say, clear some of it? And, like, is there a gap at the top somewhere where we might not have to clear as much?
Oh, well, so we can certainly get through, but we can't get through quickly and easily.
You'd think it's probably going to take you a couple of hours to dig a way through.
We don't have a couple of hours, unless...
There was no... The people who were at the bottom of the pit for a little bit, obviously they were distracted, but they didn't come across any source of the mist, did they?
No.
Keep sending me messages.
Sorry, man, I just not everyone's talking. That's all. Yeah, guys. Back in when we went through the travel through the ice area, we all got these claws of bear, but I'm not sure who's got them on them at the moment. That's all. So,
Most of you wouldn't have brought it down into this place because you had no reason to bring climbing claws.
Cool. I just thought I'd mention it. That's all.
I did, but my impression was when we switched to 2E that because that was a magic item for money, we couldn't carry it across.
I had a conversion already on there.
Oh, I didn't realise that, because it was something that I kept on me, like on all my gear, but I didn't realise that we were actually allowed to keep that.
I had actually converted.
Why are you after climbing claws?
These claws allow you to climb on walls and things like that. These are a special thing we got. Exact wording
They're
for
also
it.
good at digging.
You get it's like you were having a spider climb for one round, kind of thing, so you can use them like that. So I just thought that might be handy for us to get back around somewhere. That's all.
So the cold claws are the ice bear.
Yeah, that's the one.
And basically, the version you have allows you to ignore penalties for slippery or icy surfaces resulting to climbing, and they also act as +1 striking gauntlets.
Yeah, so it's not helpful here anyway.
And once per day, you can cast a spider climb spell while using them.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason I brought it in case we wanted to get above the gas. I'm bringing up
Is the wall spell airtight?
Is the what?
Wall spell.
It can be, yes. You can do that if you want to, but then that might cause problems.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Do you have enough
How
spell
high would
slots
we
left
go?
to do that?
No, but the crazy dwarf's got the wall spell.
Yeah, but I used it.
You did.
I've got Wall of Fire and Wall of Stone, and I use both of them. Can I detect whether or not...
Are you a prepared caster?
Yeah, I just have one of everything. It's easier for me, I'm silly. Can I do a Perception Magica Arcana, that's the word, to see whether or not the fog is magical?
Sure. And you even, I'll even give you advantage because you've been in it. Which means you roll twice and take the best.
Yeah, you used to roll your second dice.
Oh, right.
So I gave you one.
Okay, so that's a 30.
Okay, you think it is some form of magical petrification.
Okay. If I want to try and dispel magic,
Mm-hmm.
it says range 120 feet. Is that to where the mist is coming from, or would the mist be acceptable?
Well, you can cast it on the mist. If the mist is a spell, you will dispel the spell itself. If it's not a spell, you will mainly create an area where it's not working for a time. It may slow down the gas coming towards you, but it wouldn't stop it.
What if I tried to do that and you guys started digging?
Is that a cantrip?
No.
It would be a third level spell at least.
Level 2.
Level 2.
Naturally, more working on the idea of that. Whilst yes, the cave in has made it difficult for us to get through, it's probably not airtight. So therefore, if we naturally we can tie a rope to the middle pillar, that's on our side, crawl around the walls to one of the sides, wrap around the next middle pillar, crawl around the wall, go around to the next middle pillar, so then we can get back across to the other side of the pit, and then keep moving back up further out onto the area where we
Came in.
Either upstairs or downstairs from the Gordons and stuff. And we got out onto a balcony area, and then the gas could keep going down. It could go back down into that the long tunnel. And if they haven't managed to make it a airtight seal with the bubble, then they'll gas themselves. But either way, we could be out of the gas area.
I'm gonna go on a limb and do dispel magic anyway, because it only takes two parts of an action or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case it negates that. But Nashu's got a point.
Okay, so Nashu's going to start setting up the rope to allow people to get around.
Look, I've actually got, while I'm sitting on one hit point, I'm going through my backpack looking for anything, and I'm going, nope, and going, yep, Nashu, great idea.
I have to do a counteract, I don't know what that means.
Counteracting, I'm just looking that up right now.
Cool.
Counteracting against spells.
I think it means that your roll will have to hit the hits DC. But
So you now have to make a caster check against the DC of the fog.
So I have to do a spell attack or a spell DC?
No, spell.
it's a spell attack.
It's a spell attack.
Okay, cool. So I roll and add 19.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Alright.
Okay, staying away from the spellcaster.
Yeah, everyone stand back. This could go
I'm
badly.
not worried. It'll either work or won't work. I'm not going to make the fog bigger unless you really fuck it up.
Why did you say that? Are you ready for me to roll?
Yep.
24.
24. Okay. Now I need to look up the level of what it should be coming out at. So, shiny new book.
Yep, I got one of those.
Bestiary 2.
Oh, no, I got bestiary one, sorry.
So that was what the shiny new book was.
I have airwalk for 2 more times a day at the moment, so I can get myself back across the chasm if I have to.
And what did you get?
I'm
24.
you got 24, I got hard. So.
No, are you saying that for you or for Emerus got?
24 for Emma Scott, and I'm just going to let people know.
Yeah, sorry, just confused me, that was all.
Sorry, apologies.
Okay, so technically you succeed. Because the only reason you succeeded was it was a level 8 creature doing it, not a... if it was the same level as you would have failed.
Okay.
That's the only reason you succeeded.
That makes... Cool. I don't know how that works, but thank you. So what does that mean?
Okay, so
Succeeded.
the green fog dissipates.
All of it.
It'll all dissipate
You're welcome, everyone.
before it starts coming in again.
So it'll take a while to build up, though.
It will.
Okay, I'm happy with that.
So does that mean we want to start digging, and then once we get to an hour, I can try to heal everyone again?
Like?
I'm going to stay at the back, guys, for a bit, because I'm only 1 hit point.
So basically, on a critical success, you can counter a spell that is more than 3 levels higher than you are. Oh, actually, is it against a magical item? Because it's not a magical item. So you can, on a critical success, you can do things 3 levels higher than yourself. If you get a success, you can do up to 1 level higher than yourself. If you do a failure, if it's you still succeed if it's 1 level lower than yourself or more. But a critical failure, it doesn't work. So basically, a failure is not a bad thing in Pathfinder 2.
Depending on where the level of the thing is that you're dealing with.
Excellent.
And the thing is, you failed by 2.
I'll take it.
So yes, you succeeded on a failure.
Excellent.
And that's what I love about this system. So yes, it clears away, and you can basically see it just turn into wispy bits of green that slowly fades from sight.
Cool.
Is there anything cool in the pit?
Well, lots of things you can see in the pit, including the guy you killed.
Well, a couple of guys down there, isn't there?
There is one guy laying. Well, actually, no, it'll be turned to stone now. So I know there are a lot of statues in the pit.
Ah.
So did their equipment turn to stone with them?
They did. That's one of those things about most of the petrification is it turns everything to stone.
So there's lots of stone things in the pit.
There are lots of stone things in the pit. A couple of them partially eaten.
Partially eaten?
Yep. A lot of things that turn stuff to stone eat the result.
Is there anything alive in the pit?
Not that you can see.
Is the sword actually turned to stone, or is it like an artifact and not turned into stone?
It has turned to stone as well.
What sword?
The sword the samurai was wielding.
Oh, the evil samurai. Okay.
Well,
I randomly might throw stones at it to break it, because I hate that sword. Maybe, just...
Okay, give me a ranged attack roll.
Can you even see it? Like, how far down is the pit?
I know, it's not going to be a hit. I'm just going to say that I'm just a bit frustrated
No,
with
but
that.
like, can you even see where it is? Because
Probably-
you don't have dark vision.
Probably not, because the pit is over 100 feet down.
Okay, I'm 19.
Unless the dwarf is hanging over the edge and shining his light down there, no one can see down there, except for Jeremy.
who's busy working his way around the wall. Okay. Nash's still keen to actually leave the rope angled across there, so if they can easily get out again when we get back
I
later.
can too, 'cause I've got balloons here.
That's not a bad idea, just have it hanging there in case stuff goes sideways.
Is a rock simple weapons or not?
A rock is a simple weapon.
Okay. 35 on that.
Weapon, or is there like an improvised weapon mechanic in this system?
Well, it is.
I've got 20 bucks, so if you want to miss it, I understand.
If he picks up something that is around your sort of rock, I can say that like a half thing you can throw a rock. But if he picks up a bit of a wooden chair leg, then I'm going to call it improvised.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yes, you hit the sword and it bounces off.
Even though you can't see it.
You don't defeat the hardness with a piece of rock.
I'm about to say God, and then I realise I shouldn't say that out loud, and I say, damn.
Well, you know what happened on Wednesday's group when they cursed a god?
Oh, I fully aware of that one, yes.
Would you like to make a religion roll and find out?
No, I'm fine, absolutely fine. I'll just go, A bit upset that I didn't break the sword, but that's okay. So this is Martin, this is you. Depends how long we're resting.
Yep.
when we get to an hour from that original fight, I can heal myself.
Yep. And how much do you heal yourself?
It is. It's 11d8.
So you're going to roll your 11d8?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's my heal. I've got it's like a paladin heal, guys. So it's, but only once every hour. So I'll roll it, man. It's okay.
Yeah.
For most people, that would be enough.
Oh no, I've got 163 hit points, guys. I've got
Okay. 11d8. 11d8, it only an average of about 50, 55-ish.
I know. It just might help out a little bit. That's all. So.
Oh, absolutely.
And he rolls an 11.
Hey, don't do that to me, right? Come on. Okay, find the magical D8 that'll do the 8 for me. It's okay, you should have to roll it. It's okay. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Well, the first one's an 8, which is a good start. I'm going to have to track this, where we go.
Martin?
Yeah, just putting some stuff on mute so it stops popping up on me.
Okay, so next we're spending a couple minutes to effectively tie rope between the central pillars,
Yep.
going via one of the side routes.
Yep.
So therefore, people are getting tired as they try and get across. They can actually have a stop partway.
Are we not digging out the collapsed tunnel?
I'm happy. No, I'm happy. We could go to the tunnel as well. Like I said, it'll only take an extra couple minutes to rig the rope up and leave it behind.
Alright.
Okay, so you're rigging up a rip to go the other way.
Yep.
And I would like to go start moving rubble until I hit that hour point when I can heal people again.
Okay, so Mark, how much did you heal yourself?
I'm calculating now too, I'm not too far away. Hang on.
It was 12.
Well, I got 36.
You got 36 on your healing?
54, Martin. It's not bad, actually.
Like I said, that's slightly above average. Like 50 would have been the average mark.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that.
My 36 roll was certainly below average. I got a one, but I rolled my 11d8.
So just so you see how well you're looking, I will switch you over. Okay, so that's how you look to the others.
Yeah, still got a little to go.
That's with your 54 healing.
Yeah, so we need Mr. Healing Man.
Okay.
Is anything happening in our toilet? Do we make any progress in the 20 minutes of rubble?
Okay, you managed to start moving some blocks while you're doing that. While you're doing that moving, you both get to make perception rolls.
Yep. For the perception.
It's on the front of your...
Its own skill or its
Oh,
own
right there.
attribute.
The one, under perception. Right, yeah. Sorry.
It's the core skill of the game.
19.
19.
Yeah.
Total?
So, yeah.
35.
Okay, so while Dimley's doing his digger hole routine,
Hi-ho, it's off to work week. Sorry.
you hear the sounds of tools working deeper into the hole.
Okay. Like on the other side.
No, it doesn't sound as if they're trying to come your way. It sounds as if they're doing, but they are using tools.
They're obviously bolstering it from their side. Yeah, this could be an exercise.
We need everyone. We need everyone to jump. Oh, yeah, okay.
It depends how many of them are around, how quickly they're going, and what they're doing.
They make noise, are they?
Yeah, they're obviously using tools of some sort on the other side.
Does anyone speak Hobgoblin?
No, because not even they do.
I was gonna say we could just like, we killed them all. We're here.
Unfortunately, they all speak Goblin, not Hobgoblin.
Naturally great goblin.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, I speak Goblin.
Can you like yell out
Surprise,
saying?
surprise.
I'm gonna go back to the
And
others.
technically, we speak goblin for the opposite reasons.
And it's around this time that you're up to your hour
Okay,
essentially.
so when we return back to the others, I'll report back to Nashru and the Black that something is going on the other side of the thing. They're probably bolstering and making it harder to get through.
Well, I guess we've lost the element of surprise.
Can I assuredly heal everyone?
You can. Though you do know if you actually critically succeed, you double how much you heal.
I'm aware, but if we go for an hour, I can also double what we heal.
But if you critically succeed and you go for an hour, you do it by 4.
So what's critical succeed?
10 over the target number.
And the point is that the difference between
19 or higher.
a guaranteed and the 50-50 chance.
It's not 50-50 because he needs 19 or more to critically succeed.
He does have more than a 50% chance of succeeding.
Okay, so I have rolled.
And it's only, but the point being the fact that even if you critically succeed, it's only 2d8 extra.
Is it
It
2?
doesn't change to plus 30.
Oh, it's 2. Yeah, only an extra 2d8.
Yeah, right. Okay, I would like to assurance heal everyone for 2d8 plus 30.
So which people are you doing it for? All those
Everyone
wounded
except
ones?
National.
Everyone except for Grace and Nashru.
So 30 plus 2d8.
Yeah, I'm just rolling the 2d8 now. And is it the same 2d8 for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. 10, so 40. Everyone gets 40. And do you guys want me to keep it going for an hour or not?
Because that's an hour you can't do anything else.
Yeah.
Which means Mark can then do his touch hold on healing again.
I mean, I'm figuring that
I could do that again, I suppose. Yeah.
it's going to take a long time to try and dig through if it's still going that way.
Because if I go for an hour, it'll double 40, so it'll be 80 for
That's right,
everyone.
absolutely. And like, I'm thinking of the fact that as far as we're actually aware, we haven't got a specific time limit to get out of here.
Yeah, the
As
characters
players,
don't know that.
yes, we know we're not supposed to be here more than 24 hours.
Yeah, but our characters don't know that.
That's right, the characters aren't aware of it, except obviously we've got the problem that they know we're coming. However, they're obviously barricading in rather than trying to attack us. So they've got time to heal up and prepare. We can use the same time to heal up and prepare.
Fair call. Alright. I'll keep it going for an hour and everyone gets 80.
Okay.
Ooh.
Just help out Annie because she's not here. She has some focus points as a witch, doesn't she?
She does, and I'm assuming she's got all 3 back now.
Cool, I just thought I'd be safe for that one, just to make it easier for her.
Okay, so Xanis loses the wounded condition, and Horori loses the wounded condition.
I should lose my other conditions from the road rush, shouldn't I? Yeah.
I'm going to check that because they may not all have gone.
Pray to DM God now, pray to DM God.
It depends on how long it takes.
Okay, during that hour, so Iomi's obviously stayed watch up at near the edge of the pit type stuff, so she can watch out to see if the gas returns or anything.
Okay, so the enfeebled does not go until 8 hours have passed. You drop it by 1 for every 8 hours. It has not been 8 hours.
That's fair call, man. That's okay. I'll check. I have no problems with that, man.
You don't know the condition you've still got left then?
It just means I got a minus 3 to strength for the.
And then, Nashru will actually use part of that hour to explore down the corridor and be taking a good look and see if you can find any weaker points or easier points to start going through, and listening to see if you can work out what they're doing on the other side of the rubble.
Okay, give me a perception roll.
Yeah, Yeah, and while he's doing that, I'm checking to make sure the gas doesn't reappear. I'm just standing around doing that.
Perception 32.
Okay, so while you've been doing that, you do notice that the bottom 10 foot has got gas in it again. So it's rising up about 10 foot an hour.
Right.
Okay, so Jeremy, what was your
Where
perception?
it's coming from?
It seems to be coming from out of the ground in the base.
Okay. Not specific vents or anything like that.
Not
Just
specific
generally
vents.
sitting up.
So it didn't originate on one part of the floor or anywhere. It just simultaneously rose from everything. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems that your spellcast had pretty much suppressed the magic, which turned it off, and then it kicked back in again. So, what did you get in your perception again, Jeremy?
32.
32. Okay, so you hear them discussing how to drop rock down behind the door as well. And they think they have it rigged up. Apparently, they're trying to set it up so if anyone tries to get through, it just comes down on top of them.
Yep. I don't suppose the direction of the voice or where we're coming, the process, that whenever I always have to see behind the door and walk behind the door, but if whether or not the room or whatever it is they might be on the other side of the door or corridor or something, does it backtrack upon the corridor at all? Like in the sense that if we went through the wall of the corridor, we might be closer than trying to get through 20 feet of rock?
You think it's actually further away?
Further away, yep, okay, that's right. Not that I know there's not any way of getting through a wall of rock instead, but...
Well, there are pass wall. That is a great spell to get through rock.
Yeah, but I don't know if anyone's got it, but well, potentially it might be easier to go through 5 feet of stone than it would be 30 feet of rubble. So.
That is true. If someone had pass wall, you could bypass the rockfall.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone actually have pass wall? Such as our druid?
No. And because it's all written down, I can't cheat and be like, oh, I had that the whole time. No, I don't.
Is it one of the spells you learned, but didn't prepare?
No, because all I do is I go, I have this many tools in the level, I just pick them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
that's-
but you need to consider it.
Oh.
Moving
Like
forward.
it is the sort of thing that as a prepared spellcaster, you can technically change your spells each day.
And you can have 3 of one and none of another.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because-
so you don't just get every spell once. You get a list. So you say you get 5 level 1 spells. You could choose at the start of that day only to prepare one of those 5 times.
Yeah.
But you
But
still
also-
you haven't forgotten the other ones. You just haven't prepared them.
I see what you're saying. Right, yeah.
But also, each day, when you can cast 5 first level spells, you might have 10 first level spells to pick from
Yep.
for those 5
Right.
spells.
And it might be, you need to really position people but not harm them. So you might be doing, I want to have 3 walls of stone. And it might be, I really want to harm people while positioning them. I just want wall of fire.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So I can
So,
help you
like-
work that out. if
Yeah,
you want.
but not today. Yeah.
That's right, yeah. I mean, and obviously, yeah, taking one of everything that you've got available is certainly a valid way of going about it.
And it's a good way of learning how the spells work and making use of what you've got.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's important with you being a prepared caster is if you want to heighten one of your level 2 spells to a 4th level slot, you need to do that when you prepare them at the start of the day.
And you can leave slots free, but then you'll be spending time learning it, like maybe taking 10 minutes to put a spell into a slot.
Right, okay, cool.
So that spell's not available until you do that, and you can't use that slot because it's got nothing in it.
Yeah.
Right, okay, cool.
So that is a valid way of doing it in Pathfinder. It's the house rule version of doing it. Instead of saying screw you over, you must have everything chosen before you know what's happening. It means sometimes you leave slots free so you can fill them as needed. So guys, I don't know what to do
You
here.
just can't do it in the middle
Give
of
me
the
10
night.
minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jeremy, the one of the voices you do hear is not a hobgoblin, and is basically the one giving the orders.
But he's still speaking goblin?
Still speaking goblin, and is a feminine voice, and is basically a very demanding, don't mess with me sort of tone that the hobgoblins pretty much acquiesce to everything they say.
Okay.
And they normally say yes, sister, as a response.
Well, basically, yes. At the end of the hour, when people are feeling healthier, then I will let them know what they're apparently continuing to barricade. We'll try and set up a chapel, something on the other side of if we do each door. Obviously, there's at least 4 of them out there. The commander is not a hobgoblin, and she is not a hobgoblin, I should say.
This gas here is rising at about 10 feet an hour.
So you've got at least 9 hours before it reaches
Yeah,
you.
so about 9 hours before it's a real issue.
If I go up and join Jeremy around where these stones are, because I'm sure that's where Jeremy is.
Well, I'm assuming the rest of the party will move down there if we're going to try and keep.
Yeah, we'll all fuck in and do it.
Pull the rocks out.
I've got as you know, Mark, I've got a special power with my sword that I can detect deck Onis within 60 feet of me.
Yeah.
Does that go through walls, that one? That's the last question.
In most cases, it will.
Can I feel that I'm detecting an Oni on the other side?
You do not detect an Oni on the other side.
Cool, that's cool. That's what I ask. No, I haven't asking.
Was that do not or do?
You do not.
Do not.
There is
That's
no
cool.
try.
So it's not the. So I know it's not the big boss.
I did hear the sneaker in the background.
Alright, that's my.
Okay, so yes, your sword. Through your sword, you do not detect a enemy nearby.
Okay, well, I'm going to start doing clear as many rocks as I can at the moment. Look at helping people out. So.
I will add my beautiful strength to the mix.
Can I give Warm an inspiration by singing something from the Snow White 7 Dwarfs?
Where are you, a bard?
No, I'm Lord. I feel like we'd work harder if I was like, hi ho, hi. No.
Give me a reform roll.
Yeah.
Are you trained in it?
Not at all.
Whilst they know where
So you
we
add
are.
your charisma bonus to it.
I have a charisma bonus. No.
And the DC is the wisdom check, the wisdom saving throw of the others.
As soon as Gimli starts to open his mouth, Maxie will mention, whilst they might know we're here, don't need to actually let them know exactly how far we're progressing.
So I believe you critically failed on nearly every character.
Yeah.
By the way, Bugs slaps you across the face.
Either that or drops a stone on his foot.
That could happen too.
Okay, so Mark, do you use your second healing again because it's been over an hour since you last used it?
I'm pretty healed at the moment.
I was going to say, he doesn't need it, does he?
I think I'm
No,
pretty
because you keep it as a backup.
I'm going to keep it as a backup if that's alright, if that's okay. So,
But
I'm pretty good, I think, man. I think. How much actually am I now? Is it 142 or something? Or something?
You are on. Let me see if we have. Where is Horori? That's Bobby's on 85. Jeremy's on 70. Horori's on 135.
135, okay, yeah.
Xanis is on 137. Dimley's on 96, and Naomi's on 118.
Yeah, okay, don't worry about it. Cool. So,
well, I was going to say, after working together somewhat, and we spent like 10-20 minutes and not got very far through the rumble so far,
Yep.
Naturally it's going to work on the idea that, well, hey, everyone else has been sitting around lying still for the most of the last 2 hours, unlike Nashru, working hard or being alert. So he's going to step back and take 10 minutes to do medicine on himself.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so give me a medicine roll.
He's aiming for a DC 20 and got 32.
So you critically succeeded.
Yep, so he gets a whole 48 plus 10. 16,
That's
22, 32 points back. Which I think is not quite maximum.
So that puts you on 102 out of 105. You missed it by 3. I'm sure that 3 is going to be important later.
He's happy enough for the time being, though.
But you are the healthiest looking of the ones there.
Well, he's normally been the healthiest looking. That's why he volunteered to not get healed by our fearless healer.
66 scars. Pain is temporary. 66 scars glory lasts forever. Pain
66 scars.
glory lasts
Okay.
forever.
Glory. Lasts forever.
Well, scars can last forever.
They make you fit, they give them though, so it's okay.
I think we'll clear as much rubble before the door.
Yep.
And we make a call after what we're going to do after the door.
I think
So
so.
it takes you 2 hours to reach the door.
I thought it would be, I didn't expect it to be quick.
Well, actually, I should roll on that and see actually how long. 3 hours to reach the door.
Okay.
Yes, as we reach the door, certainly Nasru's going to actually see if he can determine A, if they've actually already collapsed the other side of the door, or whether they're waiting for someone to open the door and walk through before it collapses.
Okay. You can see a couple of them are through holes in the door where the rubble came down because the rubble wasn't clean. And
Okay, so they are actually watching, they are in that position, they're standing watching our progress, is that right?
pretty much.
Okay.
Though it's not they pretty much have full cover though.
Oh, I can understand that, but...
But if they've rigged something to fall, if we just open the door, won't it fall on them?
If you can get to the door and open it.
Well, or potentially they've rigged it so they can activate. If they've waited for us, then I would guess it's more likely that they've rigged it to fall as they depart.
And Jeremy, from seeing the door, you remember that the doorway opened into the corridor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On the bright side, it almost certainly has to hinge at the end of the corridor, so therefore we don't actually have to clear all the way to the end of the corridor to open the door.
So is that correct? Is the hinge on the far end one?
The hinge is on the far end, yes.
Okay, so remember the idea I had was putting the rope around the door handle and pulling it back kind of thing. But yeah, okay.
Okay.
So,
Just a question.
Go on.
They apparently rigged something so a rock will fall.
No. So effectively the ceiling will fall on the other side of the door. Yes.
Right, so it's not that a rock will fall, it's the ceiling will fall. I thought they said something about the rock was going to fall behind the door. It was
They
the
were
exact...
going to collapse the rocks behind the door.
Oh, collapse the rock.
Basically do the same thing to the ceiling on the other side of the door they did on this side.
Well, they were collapsing it on this side, is what they were saying.
Yeah, okay.
However, so we can see them through gaps in the... Does that mean the door's open a little bit or something? Like
The door has been damaged.
Okay.
It didn't like the explosion. It wasn't designed to contain rocks hitting it at high velocity.
That makes sense? Cool.
So can I, like, have a look through one of those gaps and see if they're, like, aware that we have now cleared the rubble? Like, are they standing
Well,
there
you
with
can sort of see a part of a face or an eye or part of a clothing through the rubble because it's not, the rocks aren't completely sealed in with dirt and everything. The rocks have holes we can almost reach an arm through at times, and you can see shadows moving on the other side of the door.
But like certainly, the fact they're standing there, assume that they're aware of us.
And occasionally your light plays through the holes and you see people moving on the other side.
What I'm interested in the fact is they're not apparently dissuading us from our actions at this stage.
They are not.
They're just watching, but not actually doing anything to stop us.
Random question.
Yep.
Line of sight for spells.
Yep.
Hypothetically, I wanted to summon an animal.
Mm-hmm.
Could I do it on the other side of the door?
Potentially you could, but you can't actually target a square to put it in.
So it's kind of luck of the draw where it ends up?
You could hit a person on the other side of the door, but you couldn't target a square. You
Well,
can't see the square.
Could I get it to appear on someone's shoulder?
Depends on if it, on what it actually gives me as the description. Which spell?
Summon animal. Oh. This is like a quarter-formed plan, so please feel free to stop me at any time.
And I would suspect that it's not something to do until we're ready to go in. Because they're not going to take long to deal with any small animals you might summon.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Jeremy, do you have the terracotta phantom steed, don't you?
I'd have to say you'd have to see where you're making it for,
Okay, that's
and it wouldn't actually be easy to see the ground.
That's alright, it was just a fun thought.
I can see one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I cast daze?
Again,
So
days is probably not something to do until we're ready to actually go in. Because days is only like a round or an action, isn't it?
I think it is.
Does do damage though.
Us?
When it's heightened,
I
it's
can-
cantrip.
Oh,
When
okay.
it's heightened, for every 2 levels it's heightened, it does a d6.
That's the good thing about the cantrips is they do a lot of damage.
Yeah, the cantrips remain useful when you're higher levels.
I'm just going to check cover rules first. Because I did say full cover.
I could go into Wild Wind stance because that ignores concealment and cover.
You can ignore full cover.
It says all cover.
Yeah, but what are you trying to do? Because if you can't reach them.
No, it's a range attack.
Oh,
I
range
just
attack.
stay in that stance, but the thing is, all my attacks just do a d6.
I'm just trying out days to see whether or not they like.
No, they
Change
just
their
get a
action.
bonus to their thing. So, okay, so you want to make an attack roll against it?
Yeah, just to see what It's not an attack roll. It does a will save, basic will
Okay.
save.
In which case, they don't get any special bonuses. So Daze doesn't have
So
a.
it does the mental damage either way, but if they critically fail their save, it's also stunned one.
Okay, let me have a look. So... I don't believe a cantrip is an automatic damage, so I believe you still have to hit the target.
It just says you cloud the target's mind and daze it with mental jolt, deals mental damage equal to your spellcasting ability modifier. The target must attempt a basic will save. If it critically fails, it's also stunned one.
Oh, okay. In which case, it gets a saving throw.
Yeah, so basic will save
It's a
means.
saving throw for the stun, but not the damage.
Oh well. Okay, so that would be a. Where is he saves? And what's your DC?
29.
Okay, so it is a critical failure.
So it's stunned
So it
one.
takes double damage and
It
stun.
doesn't say it takes double damage.
The basic damage does that.
But basic saving throw, if they get critically passed, they take no damage. If they pass, they take half damage. If they fail, they take full. Critically fail, they take double.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So you got to roll the damage.
Yeah, so I did. So I rolled, it was 8 plus my modifier, which is 12. So 24 damage.
Okay. Sure you rolled enough dice?
Yeah, 2d6.
Okay, so.
Because it's just the modifier for the first level, then for every 2 heightened, it's a d6.
Yep.
So that takes up to like 5th level.
Yep.
So even though it heightens to 6.
Okay, so you hit him for double damage, so you rolled how much?
12, so it's 24.
The total of 24.
Okay.
Do they do anything in response?
Yes, you see them drop something over the other side of the door. And you no longer see any movement.
Drop something over the other side.
Did we hear significant
Did the door
sound?
not reach the ceiling?
Oh no, the door reached the ceiling. It was just
You
that
just
the
know it
holes
goes
in the
in the
door
door.
from the damage from the
Oh, so
rock.
they've dropped something through a hole in the door.
They've dropped
Well-
something on the other side of the door so you can't see through anymore.
Yeah. Either they put a curtain across, or did they make a lot of noise doing it? Like, they haven't dropped the wall, the ceiling or anything like that, have they?
They have not.
No, okay, so they basically dropped the curtain across the holes in the door. So.
I'm just having a thought here. Should we?
Is there a sound coming? Like, does it sound like they're leaving or anything?
Give me a perception roll.
I'll join that action. I need to roll dice.
34.
You can hear the sounds of movement.
Like getting fainter or?
Getting fainter.
I think that we scared them away.
No, that means they're probably going to chop the roof on us then.
Probably.
Should we run through really quickly?
Well, we can't say where are you going to run through.
Open the door, run!
You've only got very small gaps in the rubble still before you get to the door.
I'm
Then you've got to try and force the door open.
What'd you get, Mark?
Whisper to Nashru. Can you maybe taunt them in Goblin, please?
So
Right, they're already
how
running
far
away.
into this 3 hours to get to the door are we now?
Okay. Well, basically, 3 hours got you to the point where you could actually see the door and see through the door. That was how
Right.
far you got. Up until that point, you couldn't even see the door.
Right.
You could just hear things.
But the stuff in the way that Francis told me.
Right. Okay, so we thought you figure we can concentrate on right next to the door to maybe get the door open enough to squeeze through. Right. Yeah, it's going to be a little
but
while
it
yet.
might be rigged as well from what you observed earlier.
Okay, certainly I would expect that it'll be rigged that either when the door opens or when they decide to activate it directly, you can go through. But if we can get close enough to the door, so therefore I can try and at
Probably
least.
rigged to the door, considering that I'm pretty sure I heard them backing off and it hasn't come down yet.
Yeah, no, that's right. So, but the point is, if we can get to the door, then Nashru can actually start seeing what it is they block the holes in the door with, whether it's the curtain or whether it was another plank of wood or something. And potentially he'll be able to push through the gaps in the door enough to work out what mechanism they're using to collapse if the door opens, and hopefully disable that mechanism.
If only you had the ability to teleport.
Well, that means you need to be able to see.
Not necessarily. Some of them allow you to teleport without looking. But that's it says you don't need to know, you just need to specify a distance. And if you appear in something solid, you take damage.
So in this situation, it would be moderately safe because we know, hey, there's some space on the other side of the door at least.
Okay.
So we'll keep working through to get to the door, and then see if I can manipulate the door mechanism to not set anything off.
Okay, as you're working on it, give me a... does anyone have any profession relating to stone mining or anything like that?
Crafting.
I have Dwarven rock something.
Well,
Dwarven law.
Dwarven rock something might be useful here. What Dwarven rock specifically do you have?
Let me look. I got that thing. You know, the thing?
The thing?
Possibly Dwarven law.
Possibly.
Rock runner.
Rock runner, there we go.
What does rock runner give you?
I can ignore difficult terrain caused by rubble and uneven ground.
Okay.
Have a look through your skills. And particularly look to see if you've got a skill listed as something law.
Yeah,
No.
law,
He's got
region and warfare.
Yeah, region and warfare.
Okay, yep, so Nashru's got underground terrain law.
Good Dasher, give me a roll.
24. Now, when you're underground, there's a danger of rock falls.
Yes, you do think that if you don't shore up it's going to come down and basically undo most of your work. So if you want to get through here quickly, you need to start shoring up what you're digging.
Mm-hmm.
Can we... Do you know how to do that?
Well,
Well, you got a dwarf.
Yeah.
And
Just stick him in the hole, that'll shore it up.
I'll shore it up. Yep, I am the shore.
I'm sure there was bits and pieces of stuff back in the in the room where we were healing up, wasn't there?
There were lots of
Along with
things there.
the flooring, there was a few other bits
Yeah,
of
there's
random.
like crates and different things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, alright. Can we start shoring stuff up?
Okay, give me a survival roll.
Yes.
Nasu got
26.
16, 35.
Okay, so you keep adjusting everything Dimly does.
Thank you. I just can't reach, okay?
Yes.
So you think Dimly's one would have been moderately successful, but you decided you didn't really want to be crushed by the door, so you moved things into a better spot.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably put Jeremy up near the door, considering that.
Well, I figure we're probably still moving around a bit anyway at this stage. So.
Unfortunately, if I did any crafting, it's going to
It's okay. Grace went through the wall.
That's what I was telling you about. The moving things is just working weirdly at the moment.
Yep. Grace went through the wall. What do you see?
Endless void.
Well, okay, so Grace had that teleport ability. Unfortunately, it was poorly directed.
Yeah.
She ended up in a solid wall, solid brick.
She disappeared, reappeared. Wait, what the fuck?
She chose poorly. Okay, so
when we finally reach get Nasu so you can see at the door type stuff, can we work out what did they use to cover the holes?
they seem to drop some sort of cloak over the back.
Yep. Okay. Nasu will carefully push aside with the dagger type stuff the cloth and peer through to see if you can work out any mechanism or what they've done to try and affect the door if it opens.
You've seen Lord of the Rings, right?
A while ago.
Do you remember, like, when they were down in the cave and the door splintered and opened just a little bit, and like 5 arrows went through? Are you sure you want to do that?
Well, that's why I'm not actually opening the door.
No, but like just pulling aside the curtain.
Look, I'm here.
Aim!
It's also why I was pulling aside the curtain with a dagger, so therefore nothing of me was behind the hole at the moment the cloth gets moved.
Okay.
So someone comes and goes, "Hey, chop and tink."
But yeah, so then 16, 37 on perception to take a look. In fact, actually counts to 38 on perception for looking for traps on the door, on the other side of the door, etc.
Okay, looking on the other side of the door, you see a glowing rune on the floor.
Okay.
Shit. That dispel magic would have been awesome about that.
I don't read arcane, but I'm pretty certain that's not what it says.
You know it's bad because Martin looked at me when he said it, so he knew what would happen.
Hey, I was asking this when you were doing your dispel magic earlier.
But there's not going to be any mechanism on the door itself.
Nothing seems to be on the door, but you can see the room below.
Since you can't read it, does that mean it won't go off?
Well, I could still attempt to disarm it. So. But it's probably going to be hard to disarm from this side of the door. That's why I'm asking whether or not it appears like they've set up that opening the door itself doesn't necessarily set things off. So,
You suspect it's a proximity.
What if we open the door and throw the halfling?
You'd be good because you don't have a halfling.
Oh, the goblin. Kobold. Dude.
Well, if you throw a kobold, you're also safe.
Xanis. Xanis is the little one, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm fat. I eat lots. So, we can throw you.
Just because I'm squishy, which I'm a bouncy squishy goblin, doesn't mean you can throw me.
Well, honestly, I have a pretty high strength. I'm pretty sure I could.
He doesn't know that you're a goblin.
Don't I?
I don't know, can you see through his disguise?
Yes.
Well, of course he
We've been
can.
secretly seeing each other for 3 months. Can you stop judging us? He's like, oh, what?
So naturally, technically, has the capability to disable legendary traps.
Yep.
So,
certainly in other, like I said, I can't remember what Pathfinder 2, I'm assuming it's still relevant, but certainly in early edition Pathfinder, that a rogue trap finding capability certainly still worked on magical traps, i.e. glyphs and runes.
They will have a look.
So what does the rune actually state?
I don't care what it says, I'll stop you doing anything.
It says they prepared explosive runes this morning.
That's right.
If it's a rune, like, would I be able to read it being a druid?
Probably.
Because I have runic stuff. It said rune.
Yeah, don't normally read trapped runes. It's a bad idea.
It sets them off, honey.
Oh. Really?
What?
So obvious.
Rory moved 60 foot back the other way.
What's the area effect of a rune? Do you actually have to go over it, or can we go around it?
Well, I mean, I expect it one that if you get near it, it can activate. But, as I say, it's certainly the sort of thing that rogues can normally disable magical traps, for example.
You're a rogue.
That's it. That's probably do it. But as a player, I'm not entirely certain how it works to actually try and disable a trap. Actually, no, because we're not going to open the door over the top of the room anyway, because the door opens towards us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do you know how you could disable it?
can
Throw a
we
whole
see
goblin
any-
at it.
Is there anyone else actually on the other side of the passageway door, like the other door?
You can see shadows in the distance. They are basically watching the door.
Okay.
How?
There is a set of stairs going, and you can see people looking down over the stairs.
Xanas,
Yeah.
how effective is your disguise?
Very, because they believe he's a kobold.
So what if you open the door and was like, hello?
Because that worked so much effectively last time.
Yeah,
No.
it worked perfectly well, except hobgoblins will shoot anything that isn't a hobgoblin.
Well, and besides, I don't think they're going to be surprised no matter how good your disguise is,
So
that they're going to be
Jeremy?
expecting that it's going to be someone friendly or not us on the other side of that door.
So Jeremy.
Yep.
With traps, or deactivating hazards, in Pathfinder 2 it says that for most hazards your successful check for the listed skill against the DC and the stat block disables it, but any other means of deactivating the hazard and stuff are included in the hazard stat block specifically, so that
Right.
it's not a universal rule, it depends on the hazard.
It does.
Yep. So,
What if we did like a roleplay where you have
And
to
I guess you don't get to know whether it's one of those things until you try, I suppose.
That is
well,
correct.
but with Nashru's experience as a disabler of traps of all sorts and bits and pieces we've come across in his 120 years,
Has he ever successfully
the
disabled something?
what's his technique for disabling these sorts of hazards?
You can use thievery if
Or
you're
rather,
trained
what's his
enough.
confidence of doing so? I guess what comes
So,
down to.
what level of thievery are you trained up to?
He's a master thief.
Then, as soon as you hit expert, you're able to disable most magical traps.
Yeah,
Well,
so you've probably
he can
disabled
actually
things like this
do
before.
actual traps. So.
Yeah, you've probably disabled stuff like this before.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He'd be confident. Based on what he's seeing there, he can make an assessment as to how confident he can be to do it. And I figure that he'd be confident he can do it. The only concern at the moment is it's not actually the trap. He could actually get rid of the trap, no problem. It's the attacks that it'll take while he tries to do it that he'd be more concerned about. So he's suggesting that, hey, there's people watching just on the other side there. Do you reckon you guys can take them out before, like, to at least distract them?
Oh,
and move
hang
them
on,
away
are
from
they
the-
still watching? Like, how far away are they now if he's looking through that?
Okay, so...
Remember, I did hear them sort of receding.
Yeah.
Is there any reason we can't open the door?
About 35 feet.
Yes.
Because you got to pull it towards you.
Yeah, so but how many we haven't converted?
You're cleared enough to reach the door, not to get through the door.
And to look through the holes in the door. But and okay, so we could probably potentially, if we want really quickly, we could get it clear enough to open the door a few inches that someone like Nashu could easily get through.
Or,
Others might be
or
harder
break
to
a hole
squeeze
through the door and go through the door without actually opening it.
So could we do that now?
You could do that now.
but I would prefer it would be better to be able to open the door and therefore be able to deactivate the explosive wound more easily,
Yep.
rather than trying to crash through the door and land on the explosive wounds.
I continue moving rocks, I guess.
But because we're seeing there's actually people still watching our progress, I would suggest possibly Ione with her great the power of the goddess
Yep.
can dissuade them from their position of guarding.
Yep.
You move up to the door and cast through the hole. Okay.
Mhm. So I'm still using days, I guess, because that's the cantrip and. Oh no. Should I use? Oh. Just need to check if Divine Lance is a better option. I think they're too far away for that.
I would have thought they're moderately close-ish.
They are roughly about 35 to 40 feet.
Could I,
Yeah, I could just use all 3 actions in my round to just distance spell Divine Lance.
You could.
So I guess the question is it better for me to do a spell attack roll? Or is it better for them to do a will save?
Depends on the person you're using it on.
I'll stick with days because there's a chance they'll get stunned, which is helpful.
Okay.
So I'm at 60 feet, so I don't need to distance spell on them.
Yep. Okay, so he got a 18, so that's still a failure, I believe.
It's a crit fail, because my DC is 29.
Then it is a crit fail.
It's 6 damage, but he's stunned on.
Okay.
can we see the other guys or just the hobgoblins we see?
So how much?
You're not getting a particularly good view of anyone, I don't
12
think.
damage roll?
Yes. Yeah, 12 will up.
Okay. So you hear a bit of a shout from that person as he's going, oh! And then you hear a kathunk in front of you. And then there's this big flash.
It's just
Well,
that
the hobgoblin set off the trap.
yeah, probably threw something onto it or something like that. But Martin, yeah, I was just about to ask, just looked up the spell for Glyph of Warning to work out how it worked as a hazard type stuff. And I noted it talked about, oh yeah, you can set a password in there. I thought, while Nasher was listening, did you happen to pick up what might have been a password?
I think you just heard it.
Oh, no, I think you heard the thunk of a rock landing on the glyph.
And then Grace, you get to make a reflex save.
Yep.
But hey, you probably got good cover, so you get a bonus to your save for cover.
Oh, well, 35 plus any bonus.
Okay, you get a success, but not a critical success.
And Nasher need to roll for you, considering his position.
Nasher can roll with advantage because he's just off to the side.
I think I'll take the 18 over the 5, which gives me a reflex of 40.
Reflex of 40.
Good.
Okay, so Grace, with your half damage, you take 9 points of piercing damage. As bits of wood slam into you from the door splintering.
Ow.
But you managed to get your face out of the way.
Hey, and the good news is the door's not there, and there's probably no trap on the other side anymore.
Is there rubble on the other side?
Well, the door's still there. It's just that big chunks of it has splintered in your direction. And the door, and there does seem to be big chunks of rock on the other side. Parts of the rock are actually through the door.
I'm assuming Nashville took no damage?
Nashville took no damage. He rolled out of the way with...
Well, particularly also when, because you've got evasion, successes become critical successes anyway, so...
I open the door.
Well, there's
As
no...
far as it can, anyway.
Okay, the door doesn't move either way.
The door won't open at all.
No, it's been broken.
But
Pieces of
can you
door?
still see through the door? Or
There are
did you
pieces of the
indicate-
door you can pull.
Did you indicate the fact there were locks on the other side that were then blocked?
I can do a quick repair on the door.
Yeah, there are rocks on the other side of the door.
Are they enough to actually effectively fill the room, or are they just...
As enough that you can't see through from where you are.
Right, okay.
Can the
Which is why I was like, oh, we'll get the door out of the way then, because it's all rocks now.
can the dwarf kind of like just strength it out and rip the door off? Rip parts of the door off?
Sure, you can swap places.
Yeah,
I've
is
got
that
a quick
okay?
repair now. I could fix the door.
Yeah, but-
Four.
yeah, yeah.
So you want to fix the door that is still mostly buried.
Yeah, no. I just like to start tearing at it with my strength.
Okay.
Well, I would suggest you use the crowbars we've been using to get rid of rocks. But hey, that would be Nashville's plan.
But that's okay. The dwarf's not paying attention. He knows best.
No. I've been jelly wrestling fucking balls all day. You know, I'm up. I'm ready.
So, Mr. Strength roll.
Mr. Strength Roll. Mr. 26. No, wait, 28.
28.
28.
Okay, so there's this grinding sound as the rock's moving all around you as you start pulling.
I
Give
double
me,
my efforts.
give me a survival. Give me a survival roll while you're doing this.
As Nashville's backing up out of the way,
26.
you're pulling out...
You're perfectly
the
fine.
you idiot.
I think that we need to stop doing this. I'm backing way too.
Okay.
I don't think I tried hard enough. Can I, like, really...
Dimly.
No.
Not hear anything.
Okay, so
I'm gonna rage.
You're pulling out the sport, you idiot.
okay, so give me a roll with advantage.
So you're completely ignoring what we're all yelling at you.
Yep.
I can't hear it, though, because I rolled a survival. No, because I rolled a survival. I'm all... No?
It's for
We're all
it's for
yelling at you that it's going to pull in.
yeah, they are.
But do I think it's gonna fall in?
You're a dwarf. You know best.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that how your character
That's
does?
how my character thinks. So D20
It's
with
not the first
advantage?
time he said that. Yep, I'll give you d20 with advantage.
15.
15 total.
No.
That's a rather low roll.
What?
15. What do you
24.
roll?
Oh, no, just roll 2d20. So a 15 and a 9 was what I rolled.
Okay.
Yeah, so you rolled a 15,
But you said with advantage. Yeah, you said
Using your strength.
Oh, sorry. 34.
34. Because, you know, if you had rolled a 15, that would have been rather catastrophic.
Yeah, no, I misunderstood. Sorry.
Okay, so you pull out big chunks of the door without managing to pull the supports down.
Excellent.
But the supports roll around a lot as he's doing this. You know, any normal person would have been squished flat.
Can I just
But
look at
because
the
it's dimly.
wave through the door and say, told ya?
And then as he comes out and does that, one of the rocks goes poof right behind him.
Okay.
Exactly where he was standing.
I'm sorry. I'd like to put the door down and back away slowly.
And everyone can make a perception roll.
I'm gonna use it. Oh. 33.
Okay, that's 12.
26.
26 from Mark.
Perception, 27.
You know why it doesn't bother me? I'm so short.
And what did Jeremy get?
Nashville was so annoyed at Dimly, he walked away,
Yep.
and with the plus 21 perception, he got 22.
Oh, you got the same as me then.
I got 33 though, so
But
dwarf
if
is
you
fine.
got 22, then his was downgraded.
Why?
Because if you roll a natural 1, no matter what you roll, is downgraded to 1.
Oh.
So he got. There's no critical failures. It's a downgrade on it.
And it just basically turned his back and walked away.
So he got a 22 downgraded.
So what do I notice?
Okay, so you notice that there are these red glyphs on the wall. Glowing red glyphs. That seem to move.
On the wall where?
You know, you can probably read because you can read.
Yeah, can I read
What
it?
languages can you read?
Common, Druidic, Dwarven, and Polyglot.
What's none of those?
Ah.
So,
Can I read Martin?
What did you get on your perception roll?
I got 26.
No, you can't. You can't even see it at all.
Is
Okay.
this
Fair enough.
on our side, like in the corridor? Or
In
is
the
this
corridor.
on the other side of the door?
On your side.
On our side.
Can I yell out there's glyphs on the wall?
Yep.
There's glyphs on the wall!
Okay.
Jeremy?
I'll give everyone a perception roll with advantage this time.
Yeah. What's that?
31. I didn't need to do anything, but you know.
Yeah,
26.
28 to Harari.
I got a 30.
36 for
Oh
that.
no, 33 I should say.
So apparently everyone but Harori noticed that as Harori turns around to look at the glyphs you keep pointing out, the glyphs move.
Right, can anyone read them?
And they seem to be wherever the glowing eyes on his shoulders are pointing.
Going eyes on Rory's shoulders.
On his armor.
Can you read it?
Can I read
What?
them?
So,
What languages do you know?
I probably can't, so they're probably 10, but Draconic, Elven, Shoanti, Verisian, Aslanti.
None of those.
I assume I can read them, but I just can't see them, right?
Well, every time you turn around to look at what glyphs, the glyphs move.
Jeremy?
We keep coming behind you. Just like the pantomimes.
Jeremy, can you read them?
Okay.
Do you know TN, Jeremy?
Yeah, he does.
Infernal or?
He's confident the dwarf knows best.
I'm telling you there's runes, can you read them? Natural, I can't read them.
It's like what they say, because you obviously know that
I don't know what they say.
Destroying our work in include.
The 16-year-old bloody elf rogue, I don't know.
Stop being such a punsy little tall man and tell me what it
That's
says.
true, I really want to know what the writing says.
well, let's see. I could speak. We'll read Common, Draconic, Elven, Goblin, Orcish, Tien, and Sylvan.
It's none of those.
Yeah, it's probably Infernal or some bullshit.
Orcs.
Yeah. Like I say, naturally noting where it's coming from.
Yeah.
But the gauntlet says, I want nothing to do with slap.
Aurori, it's coming from your armor.
Nashru will then return towards the doorway and survey the damage the dwarf did.
It was very helpful, actually. Aurori, can you read what's coming out of your armor?
He has removed part of the door so you can actually start working on the other side.
You're welcome.
And what are we looking at on the other side?
Bits of chunk of rock have fallen from the ceiling. It's probably only about 2.5 feet deep at the bottom of the door.
Okay.
So it didn't actually collapse the whole ceiling. They obviously hadn't managed to bring it all down like they were hoping to.
Okay, so it looks like we don't like technically we could go over the doorway is empty now. And it just means that the ground is like the ceiling's a lot closer than it was. It's not so much blocking the whole room, it's just the ceiling's a lot closer.
Yep, you could
If
squeeze.
you could walk on top of the rocks.
You could perform the squeeze action to get through for medium-sized creatures. You need to do more work to make it available for a medium-sized person without squeezing.
Would you...
So look up the squeeze rules while they're doing stuff.
I'm a medium, but I've got rock runner, so I can ignore...
That doesn't ignore squeezing.
Oh, okay.
It could help potentially if it's not trying to run over rocks.
Considering my armor's got, I know the following laws: Dimension of Nightmare,
Yep.
Oni, and I think the last one, just want to double check, is North Pole, which doesn't make any sense.
We're
Thanks,
not
Mark.
academia.
Can I use my law to determine the significant?
Well, it seems to be some sort of abyssal script.
Right.
Which makes you think Splat.
Yeah. Given the armor and the fact it's divisible.
Can I use my Dimension of Nightmares law to see if I can determine what a Splat's doing right now?
Sure.
Okay.
As someone, arranges it so you can actually see what you're looking at.
Can I try squeeze through? Can I do it?
So the squeeze is you can acrobatics.
Yeah, and a critical success. You get
What page is it on?
241.
I probably just can squeeze through with no problems whatsoever.
You can only do it if you're actually trained in acrobatics, or as a minimum.
I'm a master.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm a squishy. I've got bouncing the goblin, which makes me squishy.
Okay, so squeezing is a 10-minute minimum action. So it's not I'm doing it as an action. Squeezing is a exploration mode, and it's going to take you 10 minutes to get through. Just you.
Well,
Just so you know what that is.
On a success, it will take you 1 minute to get through 5 feet. A critical success, it takes you 1 minute to get through 10 feet.
But I think that's the distance going. The 10 minutes is still for the action, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I will do that. Because the dwarf knows best.
Martin, I rolled a natural 1 on the skill check, so just assume that I'm having another nightmare from Splat again.
So what would you like to make it say?
Splat was here.
Meanwhile, I'm going to bug. See, Splat's doing things. He's fine.
Okay, Bug looks at it with a natural 20 and says, "Why is it counting down?"
Not gonna say.
Why is it counting down?
It's counting down, is it?
know? It's like,
Am I able to push the
that's what I'm
dwarf
saying to the
through?
bug.
Yeah, can someone help me pushing? Do I get a bonus if they push?
Counting down,
Sure.
is it?
I'll give you advantage.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm pushing the dwarf.
Your armor's counting down, Rory.
That's a 28.
Does Bug know what the number says?
She thinks it's counting down till sunrise.
We gotta go! Lube up dwarf, jumping through.
So you have about probably about 9 hours left till sunrise.
What do you think it means, Bug? You need Annie for that.
The sunrise.
Yep.
I'm just going to say aloud to no one in particular. What happens at sunrise?
Oh shit!
He needs to recharge his Apple Watch.
I have to go back to the episode, Martin. I don't know what you're getting at.
Maybe this thing actually disappears. The place disappears when sunlight hits it.
No, I
It
think
means it goes there during the day, but okay. Basically, the first hit the character can have that there might be a time limit on how long we're down here. We don't know what the effect is when the time
Yeah,
expires.
it's the armor that's counting down, so that doesn't mean it's necessarily attached to this location at all.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Like from the.
I think we need to get back to Splat before that armor counts down so we can figure out what's going to happen and not explode Rory.
Well, none of that. Probably all that happens is when the kick's to the bottom, the armor turns back into a pumpkin.
And I just look at him going, how old are you again?
Well, you did roll a 1. You might believe him.
Let's I'm squishing through a roll 28.
I go, really? Oh no. And that's what I do. Okay. And Rory's very gullible at the moment from Nashry's comments. So. Because this
I
one's
think the
off.
sooner that we get back to Splat, the better, personally.
Technically, if I'm standing up, you said rock runner works, right? So if I'm horizontal, it's pushing my...
No.
So you got a 28?
Yes.
Okay.
So how big's the gap there, Martin? I was assuming that the gap was going to be at least a couple of feet between the floor and the ceiling.
Well, it was basically enough for a small creature to crawl through.
And because I'm a master, it can be the size of my head.
So that's actually the case of squeezing is the idea of so small you can barely fit through.
Yes, but something a small creature can crawl through is something a medium creature needs to squeeze through.
Yeah, but like I said, we're talking like a master can squeeze through a space where if his head can go through, everybody else can. So we're only talking like 6 inches, 8 inches type stuff. In the case of the dwarf, sorry, a good foot.
Where does it actually say that?
At the bottom of squeeze.
We're talking about the sample
Barely
squeeze
fitting
size.
your head. Okay, so and you're a master in it?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you're obviously squeezing through a space barely bigger than your head.
But then I wouldn't be able to get through it all.
But I could maybe move more rocks from the other side.
But also your head's a lot smaller than his. He's a dwarf.
Yeah, but I'm a...
Well, what I've looked at so far, his dwarf, his head is very big. I think the 2 foot gap there and he's still squeezing.
Ouch.
Drop the mic.
Well, he is hardy. Okay, so you... The thing is, it doesn't say that you can get through things easily anyway.
I think it's just saying that if
I was just saying that that's the minimum size you could squeeze.
That's the minimum size you can squeeze through, yes.
Yeah.
So nowhere in here does it say that if someone else would have to squeeze through, you automatically succeed.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
that makes sense.
But the DC would be less for other people.
Yeah.
So 475. That was where I was having a look at. Okay, so you're able to move a lot faster because you're squeezing.
And the goblin's pushing him.
And the goblin's pushing you.
It just means you're going to be there faster than the rest of us can help you.
Okay, so you spend the equivalent of 10 rounds getting through,
Okay.
which is basically a minute.
And the goblin's going through.
Yeah, I'm going through. I'm a small creature.
Yeah, well,
That's not squishy.
But it does take you the same 10 minutes, the same minute to get through that it takes the dwarf because you're pushing.
Yeah, but I'm going with the dwarf. That's why I take me 10
Effectively comes
minutes.
out the same, just immediately after the dwarf.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, I'm going to follow, because once I've announced that we should get back to Splat, I'm going to basically follow after whoever goes in.
Well, you still got, quite a few rounds of discussing things before that.
Can
Or we can discuss it while going through these.
Now that I'm through the other side, can I do a quick perception check to work out what's happening in the room? Are other people right next to us? Does it look precarious? Is there a giant monster with tentacles? Like, what are the... What's going down? I can roll a perception if you really want me to.
Are you checking that sort of thing before you jump down out of the gap?
No, the goblin's pushing me.
I mean, I'm assuming, so the actual gap you're trying to squeeze, like the distance you're trying to move is probably only a few feet total. So,
Yeah, it took me a minute.
Took you a minute to get through. Okay.
We've got dwarf.
That just reminds me of that thing from the restaurant. This was down the drain.
Okay, so give me a perception roll. Natural 1?
Yep.
Okay, so looking around, you find some white powder nearby and test it. It's an opium. You test it again. Still an opium. It's definitely an opium. Yep, it's an opium.
So do I have an increase in...
You feel great.
I feel amazing.
And you're busy for a little while the goblin's looking on it going, what?
What are you doing?
He's sniffing the floor. Licking it and sniffing it a bit as well. And he looks exceedingly happy.
Do I get any bonuses on the pain?
Does he now develop an addiction?
Not yet, yes, I have
A few con rolls or whatever?
yeah. It's not an automatic addiction. Unlike
but
some other
also,
things.
you're assuming that his assessment of opium is actually accurate. It's really just chalk.
He thinks it's an opium if you take enough.
It's chalk and powdered rock.
Well, hey, they might have just cut it with it. Diluted a little bit for the lesser folk. Okay, so yes, we have Dimly in there resting with the nice powdery stuff, with our goblin friend beside him.
Can I grab some of
Is
the
he
rest of the
making
before he does
an
anything?
angel in the powder?
Some of his gums before he does anything. He has some and just like rub it in his gums.
So apparently there is a chance at a contested roll here. So would our dwarf please make a? Do you allow the dwarf to rub something in your mouth, Ross?
No.
Then there is a contested roll there. So first you got to grab him.
I grab.
Give me a roll to grab him.
What do I need to roll?
You have to do an athletics roll better than his. Is it fortitude defense
Or is it my reflex?
or reflex defense?
Might be really close.
As a grapple defender, you've probably got a choice of what you want to use.
What do you want to use, Ross?
I'll use my reflex. It's better.
What's the DC?
Well, don't I roll? And then
Yeah.
No, you don't roll. You add 10 to the thing. You, as
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
the
that's
DC is-
32.
yeah. So the defender rarely rolls.
Yeah.
So apparently you try to grab the goblin. He just looks at you with this slight step backwards as you're grasping at the butterflies in front of him.
You did actually the fortitude DC rather than reflex. You don't get the choice.
So what was the fortitude DC?
30.
Still,
Still grasping at the butterflies in front of the
Try
goblin.
some of the powder!
it's not a crit fail.
Try some of the powder!
Nashru will be going through the gap next.
Well,
again, aiming to.
Iomi had actually said she was going
No,
next.
I said I was following Jeremy.
Oh, okay, you're following
Yeah, so
Jeremy.
Jeremy goes next.
So Jeremy's next, followed by Iomi.
And so, well, Nashru is a master in acrobatics as well, so and a slender elf he can squeeze through, but he's deliberately trying to push extra rocks aside to make the space bigger as he's going through.
He does. Well, actually, he's got a covering.
Does he have long, like, can I see long hair on Jeremy?
On Jeremy, probably.
Can I help him through?
Oh,
Can I eat
Nashru-
him? He's stuck! I have to help him!
Nashru hunters. As soon as the dwarf comes close, stay away from Nashru at the present time after collapsing the door. We wouldn't be
I'm
squeezing
just
like
trying.
this. We wouldn't be squeezing like this, so.
So you're being told to stay away.
I'm gonna roll to see whether I do. I don't.
Okay, so apparently you're going to have to fight while confined.
Well, I just want to grapple and pull. That's it.
Give me a strength roll. Well, that would be athletics roll actually versus his fortitude defense. What's your fortitude defense, Jeremy?
Plus 17.
So that's 27. Okay, so someone's grabbed you and started pulling you through the hole.
By the hair.
I got a.
By the hair.
I got a 35 on my punch.
So do I have to roll to just get hit?
You get hit. What's your AC?
Not 30, yeah, 26.
26. So you almost got a critical hit on you. So he rolls damage.
Alright, do it.
Where am I? A whole 3 points.
Alright,
Get the hell away, I'm fine.
I would like to voluntarily fall backwards while not letting go of his hair.
You have a chunk of his hair in your hands. You have pulled out some of Nashru's hair.
Oh, you did.
I'm high as balls. You can't.
You don't know that.
No.
He hasn't told you you're
No.
going high.
Nashru
The
will
character doesn't know he's high as balls. The player does.
No, you don't.
Nashru will tumble through and he's going to stab with his
That's
dagger.
true. You did say that.
Yeah.
So Jeremy, go ahead.
So Nashru finished squeezing through, tumbled on the roll, and came up with his dagger in his hand and stabbed the dwarf in the stomach.
What'd you roll?
15, 34.
What's your other class?
26.
Very close to a critical.
Okay, so this was the Hobgoblin plan. Cover everything in cocaine or whatever. The dwarf goes crazy and the elf kills the dwarf.
So how much damage did you do?
Did he count as flat-footed?
Yes, he does.
Oh, sorry.
So-
I'm looking at Bugger. Yeah, I'm looking at Bugger. So I go, what the hell's going on over there?
As is happening, I've started.
The dwarf sniffed the powder. 17.
I have to do this, don't I?
17, and the dwarf becomes enfeebled 1.
What?
Yeah.
You
You lose
enfeebled
one
me.
strength. Lose one strength to all rolls. Or you lose all. -1 to all strength-based rolls and strength.
That's until he rests.
8 hours.
Is that you get it? Depending on how he delivers it, most people lose it for 8 hours,
Yeah.
and they get 1 point back every 8 hours.
Well, this one's not quite so that bad. It's actually until the end of my next turn.
Oh. So you didn't kick him in the nuts.
Essentially. So I have to do a acrobatics roll, I assume.
It is a acrobatics roll. Yeah.
You're
Training acrobatics, aren't you?
Trained, yes. So
Okay.
I get 28.
Yes, you managed to squeeze through. Okay, so that brings us to Mark. Are you training in acrobatics?
Actually, acrobatics, no, I am trained, but I was going to get Bug to go through it first. So,
No, I told Bugs to stay behind you and make sure you come through the hole.
yeah, that's what I told us. I'm getting Bug to go through first, and I'll be the last one going through.
I told Bugs to stay behind you.
Oh, did she? Oh, that's fine with me. She slaps me, and then I say, go through. Okay, Bug. Okay, no, good Bug.
What about Terry?
Terry, apparently no one's noticed he hasn't been around you for a while.
Oh, God.
Last you saw him was before the Gorgons.
21 to acrobatics, man.
Okay, there's this grinding sound. Eek.
Sorry, Splat. I'm sorry.
Apparently you're stuck in the hole.
Stuck in the hole.
Yep.
Now, this is where I want you to roll to pull me out, okay? Somebody?
Yeah, I can help. I can help.
You have been stabbed at the stomach.
That's alright. I can't feel it.
Opium's is a great painkiller.
I would like to roll, but I think I have to do a -1.
Yep.
But he's letting me, so...
That's still the same roll.
Yeah, no, but it's a strength now, not an acrobatics.
It's still going to be an athletics because you've got to yank him out of a hole.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like 21 after the -1.
21. Okay. You're pulling on him. Roll a d6.
3.
Okay. He's yanking you in such a way that you take 3 points of damage.
But does he come through?
No. You stop.
Can someone else help?
After Nashru got through the hole and reacted to someone attacking him as he came through, he's taken up position at the stairwell there to watch if anyone else is coming through.
I'll pull the Ronin through.
Can I stop and just ask why there's blood?
20 on the high check.
Can I ask the party why there's blood on me?
Okay, so our goblin does the athletics check to pull the samurai through.
Okay, I got a 34 for pulling the Ronin through.
Okay, could you roll 2d8, please?
Oh, God.
Really?
Well, you're pulling him through. You didn't widen the hole.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I know.
You're going to get a very cranky Ronin in a second. I'm just going to let it play out.
You'll get part
Oh,
of the
this
very
is to get
cranky
back
roll.
to you beating the crap out of me on the way through.
We don't beat the crap out of you. I'm trying to think when they beat the crap out of you.
Multiple times. That's 10 points.
How much?
10.
10. Okay, so you pull the samurai through with a big popping sound and a big wrenching of metal and plates as he comes through. So basically, there's basically a bit of a trail of blood behind him as you force the armor into his sides.
And one of the crowbars we were using is stuck in your butt.
Nashru,
Hey!
Nashru will turn look over his shoulder and say, next time take the armor off.
Well, he's probably widened the hole a little bit, so
Yeah.
it's easier for Bug.
Yeah, it's hard.
Okay, Bug just slides on through.
Hey guys, why am I bleeding?
I offer a hand to blood and say, watch out for the blood. Bug, watch out for the blood. I'll tell her.
That acted as lubricant.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at Dinley and be like,
All we hear is a whisper from Haroy, something about a crowbar and sticking
I was
up.
helping, and I think I got him through, but I think I hurt myself.
Yeah.
who?
I was helping Nashru.
You can see he's got a fistful of hair from Nashru.
Yeah, and I think I hurt myself.
You pulled his hair out?
I don't... I was helping.
That didn't help.
Haroy whispers the Bug going, Can't I at least stick one crowbar somewhere? One of them? Yeah. Anyway.
Bug looks at you and says, "Who do you pick?"
Well, I'm going to be the furthest away. Where's the elf gone?
Apparently, you walk past the elf to go up the stairs to get further away.
No.
You can't. You've had treat wounds in the last hour.
How comes me down saying no, not yet, wait till we finish in here?
It's more of a...
No, I was just thinking automatically is it worth trying.
Bug suggests maybe while you sleep.
Hey, Bug, can I get Sled to do something when we get back? And she goes, yeah, that sounds okay. So.
I'm not sure Bug would react that way. Just saying.
You didn't say who was going to be on yet, so I might be back on myself yet, so I'm not sure. So I'll leave that up to the DM to...
Bug will say, "I'm sure Splat will put it somewhere appropriate for Splat."
Yes. And I think about it and go, oh, shit, what have I done?
She gives you a week saying, "Try not to sit for a week."
Yeah, okay. I make sure I have a 10 feet berth away from Bug with it. I'm not going up the stairs yet.
Okay, so in the room that you're in, it looks like it was some form of barracks, but there everyone's left.
Surprise, surprise.
Though there is a small little hole in the bottom corner where it looks like they've been using as a low tree.
Did you say there's a pool for me to swim in?
Yes.
Oh.
Next, we were just about to point out that the all looks like they want to squeeze down through there.
So you're trying to give the dwarf scepters?
Because we all heard, we were told that was some hobgoblins there and somebody else. Can I determine from a survival check what the somebody else might be? Assuming I don't know what somebody else is.
Can you tell me the support?
Give me a survival roll to see if you can notice anything here in particular.
Next, we will be effectively looking up to the stairs or the next way, wherever the next room is to go up to.
So the next level up also looks like a barracks as well. Just a little better appointed than the one that partly collapsed.
Okay.
29, Martin.
So it's actually a few steps down because the arrow points to the high end of the stairs.
Yep, sorry, yep.
So at 29, there's probably enough room for about 20 odd people in this place, and the upper area looks like it's set up for about 4 to 5.
Okay. That's cool. I assume just the normal footprints, I don't know anything special at all, like anything unusual.
So the upper level is what the one that most
So
of us are in.
this is the upper level, this is one level lower, and this goes down again.
Okay. So next, we're happy to be at the second set of stairs looking down to investigate the third
So
room.
the lower level is actually accommodates more people.
Sorry, this one here accommodates more people. So the one you're in
okay, so
is,
you read out that the higher level is...
the one that you're in, yeah, because they had confused me by saying the
Yeah.
upstairs.
Oh, I think I said the stairs were going up.
So my brain
We're still moving
translated.
down.
Yeah, okay.
I've done the arrows
So it
correctly.
goes from regular guys to like an officer's quarters.
And then it seems to be the bottom area there seems to be a lavish single quarters.
Okay, but we're still seeing no
No.
evidence of anyone here.
It does look as if they spent time gathering their gear and taking stuff with them. So there's just cots left here with little on it. You gave him plenty of time to escape.
Oh, absolutely.
They left the good stuff though.
Yes, they left some cots. You could sleep on them.
Is there anything in the third room then? And or...
Of course you can't see those guys because they've disappeared. There is some sort of spiral going down there.
Okay.
If I can describe that properly to you.
I'm a field medic, so I understand.
Can I see the tracks as to... If it was track 4, potentially?
It looks like there was probably about 6 to 10 went down here, including a creature of large size.
Okay, so 6 to 10 hobgoblin plus someone else.
Yeah, stone walkway plunges into the heart of a large cavern that itself is a roaring shaft of water. And it descends like a corkscrew into the shaft.
We should go.
So it's like it circles around the outside of this.
It circles in the wall full of water.
Right.
So water is falling in and across it.
Right.
So it looks treacherous.
Yeah.
Unless you're a cracked up wolf.
Do we, any idea how far down it is?
It goes beyond your ability to see with all the water.
And the corkscrew and stuff. Okay, yep, fair enough.
And basically there's spray every 10 to 20 feet down, so as the water's hitting the stairs and the slope and bouncing it. You could probably slide all the way down if you could do the curves.
Is it a slippery slide?
Yes.
We need to get down there, don't we? This is me asking the party.
And the curve is the curve points away from the corner, so you're more likely to slide off the edge than go around.
We need to go down there, don't we?
So most things when you're on a slide curve like that, so you can keep going around. This one's curving like that.
What is on the outside of that?
The outside of that is the you got the waterfall coming down. So it's basically made
okay.
it's going down with the waterfall hitting it and making it treacherous all the way down.
Right, so there's no walls or anything as far as we're aware.
There is a wall on one side here where you start, but once you get past that point, it's all water.
Right.
It's taking the water all the way down.
Yeah.
So potentially this is where your claws of the ice bear might be handy.
This would be.
Yeah.
Either that or...
If anyone had them with them.
Yeah, but it's only for
How
climbing.
about we check if
But
there's another exit
you can
to
use
this
activate
area?
spider climb on it.
Yeah, but what are we doing with spider climb?
Well, this is effectively going to be climbing down very steep, narrow stairs
No.
that are slippery and...
No chance of slipping.
Right, okay. Yeah, well, I guess I'll do that.
Can we just check to see if there's another exit?
Well, this is the way they went.
Are you sure?
I can see the tracks.
And there are at least 3 sets of footprints that are definitely not hobgoblin, but of medium size.
Amongst the 6 to 10, you mean?
Yep.
Oh, joy. Aurora just looks at himself going, oh, this is going to be fun. I assume we were doing Jeremy in the last room, I assume. So.
Yeah, I'm assuming everyone's got there.
Yeah.
People have whoever looking through the other rooms they wanted to do, and there's nothing there to find because we allowed them time to clear it out.
So you do think this would be very hard for someone to attack from? And if you were to take a long rest, this would probably be the best room you can do it in.
Well, but then Hawaii will be wearing a pumpkin for armour.
Yeah.
Well, long rest is 8 hours.
Hey, Splat didn't tell me about that one. Splat would have told me that if you... Splat wouldn't lie to me. Splat, hang on. And then Bug slaps across the back of my head going, yes, Splat wouldn't lie to me, that's right, yeah. Okay.
I mean, I could get down there, guys.
Maybe. Or you could fall down waterfall.
No, I'm magic.
So, well, do people have their crampons, effectively, their cords to the ice bear?
I assume I would add in my backpack, but I'm not sure if everyone brought their own, but yeah.
Well, not everyone has one because Dimly doesn't have any.
Yeah, so only people that would have been...
And Xanis will not have any either.
Yeah, so the only people that were in that...
I got a grappling hook and rope.
Yeah. Well, Nashru's happy to hand it on to someone else's, because
No, because it's not
he
difficult
thinks
terrain,
probably
it's treacherous
light
terrain.
enough on his feet that he'll be able to get down.
It's not difficult terrain because of rocks, it's treacherous because of water.
Okay, it's going to be slippery, but okay, Nashru's confident.
Hey, I should be okay. Oh, hang on. Just checking my
Did someone wear, has someone still got boots of winter kind or something?
I do, so I'm okay. So I have a spare set of climbing tools.
So Jeremy, this is the first place Nashru has come across that he reckons that just two of you could easily hold while people slept if you needed to.
Yeah.
This
But-
is the DM's prompt, I think.
Yeah, but we're back to that kind of gives us an hour to get through the rest of the dungeon.
Well, from Nash's perspective, he's looking around and thinking, well, yep, there's no. If people are healthy enough, there's no requirement to stop now.
Yeah, that's my character's attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you're talking about getting spells back.
That's the only thing I'm concerned about, because I could get spells back.
I think Bud can't because Spud's not here. I think only 2 people be able to get spells back, or 3 people with Richard was here. So I suppose that's the only question. It's like I think we're.
Nash was certainly happy to say that, hey, look, this is probably the most defensible what we're going to get from what we've seen so far. If you want to take the time, we can stop, but.
I personally think there's a risk to that because we still don't know what happens when that timer runs out, and we don't know how much more we've got to get through before we can get out of here.
Well, but I mean, it's not necessarily likely that the whatever countdown's going on with all his armour, that's got nothing to do with our short down here, surely.
Probably not, but Splat is outside of here, and it'd be good if we could get Splat before the timer runs out.
If you say so.
The Splat could at least tell Bug what it is.
I will follow the party on this one because I'm too busy trying to lick my own apple.
What? Okay, I don't want to go there.
Well, hey, he could have said he was trying to lick someone else's.
Yeah, so I felt like I was doing the party a service, okay?
Yeah, the dwarf is covered in dust.
Happy powder.
Not if we give him a shower.
Yeah, I think the shower's going to be doing really well. I think personally.
Oh, we're going to tie a rope and throw him off.
Oh, the thought has crossed my mind, but
I'm surprised you said tie a rope.
Yeah, but we need to draw you back in.
Well, no. But if he doesn't hang on to the rope, it's his own fault. Therefore, it's not our fault in the end. Okay. So, but I think we should call it a night. I'm not sure what you people reckon, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm tired. I'm happy to call it a night. And besides, that way we can work out how many spellcasters we've actually got here next week. The next session. See whether we're holding up.
Well, we can stop it there for tonight because that would be a good stop point because otherwise you'd be doing combat in and not enough time to finish it.
No, that's all good. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Yep.
Okay, so yes, you have managed to get through roughly that level. Though they did make you pay time.
The next time we wear, time's something issue. So, be careful those who might be getting hungry.
Some people who want to ride back in the pumpkin carriage. Yeah.
Hey, I've actually got this powder that's really good for appetite.
It makes you exceedingly hungry, doesn't it?
No.
It stops you being hungry.
You can eat, you can eat anything. Like,
Have a good night, guys.
Okay. Have a good night.
Or next week or the week after. Otherwise, stay safe, stay well.
See you later.
Good night.
Good night.
I'll catch you guys later as well.
Yep.
See you later.
Okay. Yep. Alright. Bye.
Okay, gonna put it on end now.
Woohoo! Da 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 da. Okay. Is that too much? Okay. That's like. Help me, Bug. Please help me. Help me, Splash. La 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 la. Okay. I've done my bit now. I can live with that. Watch out for the dwarf.